Rahim. Our honorable chief guest, His Excellency Tahir bin Salim Al Amri, Executive President, Central Bank of Oman, His Excellency Sheikh Salim bin Mustahil Al Ma'shani, and distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're honored to welcome you to the 8th edition of the New Age Banking Summit, supported by Oman Banks Association and the Oman Banking and Finance Awards. At today's summit, we'll delve into the world of banking and the broader financial services industry, navigating the ever-changing landscape of this highly digital and disruptive age. Collectively, we will explore emerging trends, groundbreaking innovations, and cutting-edge technological solutions that are reshaping the industry's very foundation. The summit serves as a convergence point, bringing together esteemed industry leaders, seasoned technological experts, and renowned thought leaders to exchange valuable insights regarding the latest market developments. Moreover, it will foster engaging debates centered around the key focal points for Omani financial institutions. Over the course of the day, we'll also be presenting the Oman Banking and Finance Awards. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed partners and sponsors whose invaluable support has made this event possible. We'd like to take and express our sincere appreciation to the Oman Bank Association, GBM, Cisco, Bank Nizwa, Sohar International, Ahli Bank, Ahli Islamic, National Finance, Oman Data Park, National Life and General Insurance, CNS, United Securities, Alam Al-Iqtisad, OER, and OER Live for their unwavering commitment and collaboration. Your contributions have played a crucial role in ensuring the success of this endeavor. To begin the proceedings, we now invite Mr. Atulya Sharma, the CEO of United Media Services, to deliver the welcome address.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the 2023 edition of the New Age Banking Summit and Oman Banking and Finance Awards. On behalf of His Excellency Sheikh Salim bin Mustahil Al Ma'shani, I would like to welcome and thank our chief guest, His Excellency Tahir bin Salim Al Amri, the Executive President of the Central Bank of Oman, for gracing the event today. Thank you, sir. This year marks the 8th edition of the New Age Banking Summit in Oman, and we are grateful to all our partners, speakers, and sponsors for their constant support in making this event successful over the years. Today, I stand before you to discuss an important topic that also is the theme for the event today: how banks need to navigate the digital age of banking. First and foremost, speaking as a customer, the digital age definitely presents a fundamental shift in how we customers behave and the expectations we have from the banks. With the rise of smartphones and ubiquitous internet connectivity, customers now demand seamless and convenient banking experiences. We expect to be able to perform transactions anywhere, anytime, access our accounts, and seek financial advice in real time. Banks, I would say, in Oman have responded really well to that challenge and have invested in user-friendly mobile apps, online banking platforms, and digital payment solutions. By providing these digital channels, banks have enhanced customer satisfaction and loyalty. Furthermore, the digital age offers immense opportunities for banks to leverage technology to streamline their operations and enhance efficiencies. Banks in Oman, I would think, are definitely leveraging automation and artificial intelligence to automate routine tasks such as customer onboarding, document verification, and transaction processing. Of course, Omani banks are on that journey, but I would think different banks are on different stages of evolution on that journey. And I humbly submit that the banks that do so most efficiently will be most effective in improving their operational efficiencies, reducing costs, and of course, allocating resources to more value-added tasks. When talking about the digital age of banking, one of the key challenges is ensuring the security and privacy of consumer data. With increased digitization, the risk of cyber threats and data breaches is always on the increase. Banks must invest in robust cybersecurity measures, and if I go with my own experience as an account holder with one of the leading banks in Oman, I think they have implemented two-factor authentication already, and they constantly send messages, educating me about safe online banking practices. So overall, we would feel that Oman has been at the forefront of embracing the new paradigms in banking. With its robust regulatory framework and a government fostering innovation, Oman has become a promising hub for the financial services sector under the dynamic leadership of His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq. Coupled with that, Central Bank of Oman's progressive outlook has paved the way for a thriving ecosystem of digital banking solutions, mobile payments, and fintech startups in alignment with the Vision 2040. Today, I would like to highlight a bit about the emergence of fintech startups that are redefining the way financial services are delivered. These agile and innovative companies have quickly gained momentum. They are leveraging cutting-edge technology and disruptive business models to address specific pain points and create new opportunities in the banking and fintech industries. Embracing partnerships with fintech startups can foster innovations and allow banks to explore new technologies and business models. By collaborating with these agile and innovative companies, banks can leverage their expertise in areas such as blockchain, artificial intelligence, data analytics, name it. Furthermore, partnerships with fintech startups can enable banks to offer a wide range of innovative products and services for their customers. As a result, fintech has emerged as a thriving market, and according to a KPMG report, the global fintech market attracted $164.1 billion across 6,006 deals in 2022. The payment space, of course, is the most robust amongst that sector, which attracted something like 53.1 billion. And the other one which is emerging and becoming as big is RegTech, which is regulation technology, which was at 11.8 billion in 2021 and has already risen to 18.6 billion in 2022. But I think these numbers are just a reflection of the larger story that is waiting to be revealed. In fact, a Boston Consulting Group report says that the fintech sector currently holds just a mere 2% share of the global financial services market, and it is estimated to reach $1.5 trillion, or 25% of the total banking valuations worldwide by 2030. Moving on to Oman, we have seen promising collaborations between banks and fintech startups, fostering innovation and driving financial inclusion. By leveraging the strengths of both entities, these collaborations have resulted in the development of innovative payment systems and digital platforms that empower individuals and businesses alike. Together, banks and fintech startups in Oman are paving the way for a more inclusive, efficient, and customer-centric financial ecosystem. In today's New Age Banking Summit, our esteemed panel of domain experts will share their knowledge and engage in discussions on how to stay ahead of the curve and effectively navigate through this change. Additionally, we will take this opportunity to acknowledge and honor outstanding achievements of select financial institutions, tech companies, and industry leaders through the Oman Banking and Finance Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, on this note, I humbly step aside and hand over the stage to the experts who will drive the summit forward. I express my sincere gratitude to each one of you for your valuable presence and participation in this summit. Thank you very much and wish you a pleasant summit. Thank you.
Thank you, Ataliya. We now invite our chief guest, His Excellency Tahir bin Salim Al Amri, on stage to deliver the keynote address.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معالي الشيخ سالم مستهيل المعشني الموقر، الزملاء الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. If you will allow me to share with you a few thoughts that we have been working on in the Central Bank of Oman with the sector on various initiatives. And I would like to start by welcoming you all and by thanking the organizers for inviting me here this morning. to address you all and to share with you whatever efforts we have been working on. I'm thankful for the organizers, as I mentioned, for inviting me and my colleagues and the industry to actually participate in this 8th edition of the New Age Banking Summit. I will go through a few areas. Basically, want to shed light on CBO's steps to accelerate the digital transformation of the banking system. I will also talk about the spectacular transformation taking place in the Oman's payment systems. And I will also talk about the importance and the significance of sustainability in the financial system and the steps taken by the Central Bank of Oman to foster a sustainable and green financial system in the Sultanate, along with the industry. I will close my remarks, inshallah, with providing some highlights on the steps taken by the Central Bank to support people with disabilities in the sector and enhance financial and social inclusion in the Sultanate of Oman. I will begin with promoting a sustainable green financial system in the Sultanate. So, ladies and gentlemen, a few weeks ago, in April, the United Nations body called the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released the 6th assessment report. That report warned that despite all efforts, the world is on track to warm by about 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2030. These climate events these climate events risk the displacement of 1 in every 10 people on the planet and triggers massive economic, social, and cultural disruption worldwide. For achieving the goal of a sustainable and green financial system in the Sultanate, Central Bank has already taken various steps. They include, among others, synthesizing banks and FLCs on Basel Committee's guidance on this subject. That was done in December 2021. We signed an MOU with BIA on several capacity building and energy saving initiatives in the financial sector, as well as various steps to reduce environmental impact within CBO. Today, I'm delighted to share with you our upcoming endeavors in the realm of green financing and transitioning to a lower carbon economy. We have recently finalized our roadmap to foster sustainable and green financial system, aligning ourselves with the practices of leading central banks worldwide. As a first step, we are in the process of preparing detailed guidance to banks and financial institutions, which will include climate-related metrics and transition frameworks. Also, we are dedicated to facilitating the launch of green fintech initiatives and encouraging the issuance of green bonds and sukuk by the licensed institutions. In our quest to incorporate climate risk into our microprudential policy and supervision frameworks, the Central Bank will establish clear supervisory expectations. These expectations will address the governance, processes, controls of financial institutions concerning climate-related data reporting, and risk management. We will also strengthen climate-related financial disclosures and reporting requirements from our banks and financial institutions, mandating them to incorporate climate-related scenarios in their stress testing exercises. Drawing from the global regional best practices with the support of other stakeholders, we plan to develop a principle-based taxonomy to guide licensed institutions in assessing and categorizing their funded activities, promoting the transition towards low-carbon economy. Additionally, the Central Bank recognizes the significance of environmental, social, and governance criteria in our own investments and portfolios within the Central Bank. We aim to integrate these criteria into our decision-making processes and generate research that further explores this vital subject. Furthermore, we will expand our outreach and awareness and capacity-building initiatives to foster this sustainable and green financing. And to ensure we have a comprehensive understanding of the current landscape, we recently conducted a survey on green and sustainable financing practices among banks and FLCs. The valuable insights that we have gathered from this survey will serve as the foundation for mapping out and defining baseline and existing positions and practices. These findings will guide our regulatory and supervisory approach as we continue to promote sustainable and green financing. Tracking improvement in financing practices will allow us also to measure the impact of initiatives we implement in the next stage. Together, we can shape a sustainable and resilient financial landscape that will only address the challenges of climate change, but also embraces the opportunities presented by the transition to a lower carbon economy. The world is now talking about monetizing such initiatives, and therefore I believe the banking sector is in the forefront of making sure that they actually capture those opportunities and not see them as a burden of regulation. Secondly, on the issue of transformation in the payment system. Ladies and gentlemen, the payment sector is constantly evolving in Oman and globally. New technologies are emerging at all times, which are changing the way we make payments, do transfers, and make saving and investment decisions. In Oman's case, we can also observe a clear rapid trend of the banking sector and consumer business preferring electronic payments over the traditional means and cash and checks. Let me highlight some of the major trends in the Sultanate of Oman in the past few years. On the automated clearinghouse, the ACH transactions, both volume and value have experienced consistent growth. In 5 years, the volume has grown over 2.5 times from 7.2 million transactions in 2018 to 18.5 million transactions during 2022. Similar trend of 2.5 times growth can be seen in terms of value in the ACH transactions. So the value increased from 4.7 billion in 2018 to 11.5 billion Omani riyals during 2022. Oman is also experiencing exponential growth in the use of OmanNet. And during the last years, the transactions made through ATM, POS machines, and e-commerce have increased tremendously. Those volumes increased from that time to 2022 about 3 times, 300%. So from 82.4 million transactions in 2018 to almost 253 million transactions. This tremendous expansion has been mainly achieved in the POS and e-commerce transactions, showing a trend which got a further boost during the COVID-19 pandemic. In e-commerce transactions, there is over 13-fold increase during the last 5 years. From about 3.1 million in 2018 transactions to 43 million transactions in 2022. In the POS transactions, it's over 4 times. So during the last 5 years, it went up from 42.6 million transactions in 2018 to 172.6 million in 2022. On the other hand, the volume of checks decreased by about 20% in that same period. I expect that overall tremendous growth in retail payments in Oman through the use of electronic payment is likely to continue in the future as electronic payment systems become more widely available and accepted. I would like to sincerely thank the banking sector, the fintech community, and all stakeholders for their continued support and encouragement in these achievements. I really look forward for us to work together to make sure that we actually reach heights that are global and beyond, inshallah. The third topic I want to speak about is the central bank's steps on accelerating digital transformation of the banking system. I want to share with you that there are some important initiatives that the Central Bank of Oman has undertaken to pave the way, set the scene, provide the infrastructure for the banking sector and for the digital world as a whole. Central Bank recognizes the tremendous potential of technology in shaping the future of finance, and it is committed to foster that environment and embrace the innovation while safeguarding interests of citizens. On such initiatives, we introduced the Payment Service Provider Licensing Framework, which establishes clear guidelines and standards for payment service providers. This framework promotes transparency, accountability, creating a competitive marketplace that benefits both the businesses and the consumers. Another significant initiative is the eKYC framework, which revolutionizes customer verification and onboarding processes. Through digital technology, individuals will be able to open bank accounts, access financial services remotely, securely, and efficiently, inshallah. The central bank commitment to financial inclusion is further exemplified by the development of the National Digital Onboarding Registry, which will centralize consumer data and facilitate seamless information sharing between financial institutions. In Oman is also prioritizing the development of a comprehensive digital banking framework. This framework will introduce licensing and regulatory framework for digital banks, empowering individuals with greater control over the finances through user-friendly interfaces, innovative products, and efficient banking processes. We are also now preparing a framework for buy now, pay later, ensuring responsible implementation and promoting financial inclusion and learning from examples in the region and around the world. The central bank is also working towards liberalizing the approval process for new banking products and services. We want to reduce regulatory barriers and foster innovation. We understand the critical importance of cybersecurity in the digital age and have implemented a robust cybersecurity framework. This framework addresses cyber risks, promotes collaboration, and protects the integrity of the banking sector. On this point, I want to conclude by saying that the Central Bank of Oman initiatives for digital transformation in the banking sector exemplifies its commitment to leveraging technology for financial inclusion, enhancing customer experience, and ensuring the sector's security. These initiatives not only position Oman as a leader in digital banking, inshallah, but also set the stage for the future where technology and finance coverage are more prosperous and connected society. And I want to again emphasize, we are trying to set the infrastructure. It's going to be up to the community and the financial sector and other sectors to actually capture and make sure that they utilize such infrastructure. My fourth point of discussion is, which we felt is very important and would actually have tried to highlight in various forums, especially if they are not directly related to the theme. But we believe it's very important, and it will also bring about innovative and new ways of new products, inshallah, in the system. And that is facilitating the availability of financial services to people with disabilities. This is also a very big opportunity for technology. And that's the link, inshallah. So the central bank has shown its commitment to serving all segments of society, including individuals with disabilities, through several circulars and instructions issued to banks and other licensed entities. We have signed a memorandum of cooperation with the Ministry of Social Development, aiming to enhance training, rehabilitation, and operational services for those persons with disabilities in the country. We have asked the banks to conduct disability checks during the Know Your Customer process and equip their branches to accommodate the needs of those of that segment. We have asked the banks to mark at least one branch in every government of the Sultanate of Oman, which is fully equipped to provide banking services and products for people with disabilities. I am pleased to share that currently a total of 43 branches bank branches are operating in various governments of Oman, and this number, inshallah, will increase. In our memorandum of cooperation with the ministry, Central Bank has committed to increasing employment opportunities of persons with disabilities in the banking sector and the financial system, after training them in qualitative manner in line with the requirements of the job. The purpose is to integrate them in the society as active contributors as they are, and in Oman's promising vision, and as part of the Be With Us For Them initiative launched by the ministry itself. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Central Bank's role in all these developments, as I mentioned, is that of an enabler and a facilitator. It is the market players who will have to come forward and utilize and benefit from all of these initiatives being taken by the Central Bank. We are all learning. We will learn from each other, from others, and we will learn from our tests. We will learn from our mistakes. We will learn from our collaboration, inshallah. I am sure that the bright future lies ahead for our banking and financial sector and for our country and economy, inshallah. On this note, I wish you all an informative and productive day ahead. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that insightful speech. We now invite on stage Mr. Ali Hassan Musa, the CEO of Oman Banks Association, to address the audience.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and thank you for being here today. I also wish to thank the event organizers for this annual summit that brings together experts from the banking sector and its stakeholders to present and dialogue with the objective of promoting the Omani banking industry. I also wish to thank the Central Bank of Oman for being at the forefront of banking technology and for supporting the banking sector and the financial sector. I start by presenting you with the spiral galaxy of fintech. You can think of fintech as a galaxy, and us, the human, the customer, at the center of this galaxy. The galaxy has many stars. Some are rising, while some others may be fading stars. Banks and financial institutions need to constantly monitor this galaxy and the movements therein. Banks need to have strategies for each of the components in this spiral galaxy. Here are some of the components of the galaxy. And these are some examples, and there are many others that couldn't be listed because of the space. Under payments, you have e-wallets, CBDCs, smartphone applications, messaging, clearing and settlement, POS innovations, remittances, micropayments. Under medium, you have virtual reality, augmented reality, wearables, ATM innovation, branch automation, voice and video. Under data, you have big data analytics and behavior, artificial intelligence, blockchain. Under finance, you have embedded finance, buy now, pay later, crowdfunding, P2P, and ROSCA systems. Under security and regulatory, you have digital identity, biometrics, privacy, risk, compliance, and supervisory technologies. Under wealth and prosperity, you have asset tokenization, decentralized currencies, personal finance, robo-advisors, social trading. Under others or miscellaneous, you have Internet of Things, banking system technologies, open banking, new banks, quantum computing, and ESG technologies. And the galaxy continues to expand. So let us have a look briefly at two rising stars within this galaxy. The first star is artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, or generative pre-trained transformer, are hot topics. Banks can utilize this tool for data analytics and monitoring suspicious transactions. It can also be used to engage with customers, offering information and advice. There is a potential to use ChatGPT in numerous applications in the financial industry, though recently major US banks restricted the use of ChatGPT for their own employees to create reports and other content. The European Union is at the forefront of drafting new AI rules that could become a global benchmark to address regulatory, privacy, copyright, and other challenges. The second rising star in this galaxy is embedded finance, also known as lifestyle finance. Is the integration of financial services by non-financial service providers. This is very similar to embedded payments like Uber. It brings convenience and simplicity as it delivers finance to the customer's point of need. This is done by the bank collaborating with partners to design end-to-end processes that start and finish in the marketplace outside the bank's domain. The underlying architecture for embedded finance can be open banking or direct APIs between the bank and the merchant. Embedded finance will make it easier to access credit, thus promoting financial inclusion. And now I will leave fintech and talk about something different. The metaverse. What is the metaverse? It is a 3D experience of the internet, a virtual space to explore unlimited opportunities using a representation called an avatar. Why am I talking about the metaverse when many believe that it is already dead, with thousands of metaverse-linked jobs recently axed by Facebook, Microsoft, and Disney? Well, I think it is an interesting case study, and the hype all started when Mark Zuckerberg rebranded Facebook as Meta and tried to convince the world that Meta is the new future. Other tech giants followed suit and invested heavily in metaverse, but then this year, in 2023, all this hype came to a sudden end. Metaverse was built on the notion of connecting people. When giants started building the metaverse, they realized that there were not enough people using it. Perhaps the metaverse was not mature, or perhaps post-COVID, people wanted to reconnect with the real world and travel, as we witness the travel industry growth around the globe. Another reason could be is that the wearables and devices to use the metaverse are not in the reach of the masses in terms of the price. They are also not comfortable to be worn for long periods of time. Another technical challenge is the difficulty for the avatar to transport between different platforms in the metaverse, restricting movement and usage. Despite the setback, Metaverse still carries on, with giants like Apple investing in augmented reality or Apple Reality, and events happening in this virtual world such as the Metaverse Fashion Week 2023, hosting top-end fashion houses, and the upcoming World Metaverse Show this August in Singapore. In a recent report by EY, it is mentioned that banks should explore opportunities in this $860 billion marketplace. I personally think that this number needs to be revised downward now, but even then, it still is a sizable marketplace. What does it mean to the banking industry? Banks can utilize this new virtual world to strengthen brand equity, strategic positioning, explore marketing opportunities, sales, and customer engagement. Banks can use the metaverse for employee onboarding and training, For customers, a whole new virtual banking experience with 360 view, getting info and advice through dialogue with financial advisors in a fun way. For regulators, I'm afraid this is yet another challenge. Metaverse banking in 2022 started with JP Morgan. JP Morgan was the first bank in the world to open a Metaverse branch in the Onyx Lounge at one of the virtual malls in Decentraland. A couple of months ago, it was announced that Tilia, JP Morgan-backed payment solution, raised capital to scale its platform for providing KYC-compliant micropayments and minted tokens for online games, creator platforms, social commerce, and other digital social worlds. Bank of America uses the metaverse for virtual employee training. HSBC uses metaverse for esports and gaming, and actually has acquired the land, a virtual land in the Sandbox metaverse platform. CM Commercial Bank of Thailand built its own metaverse banking head office. Union Bank of India was the first bank in India in the metaverse. KB Cookman from South Korea provides access to personal finance info and get financial advice for its customers. An example in the neighboring country of UAE is Commercial Bank International, which we will look at in a couple of slides. Then we have the Kuwait-based Warba Bank, is the world's first Islamic bank in the metaverse. Standard Chartered Bank Hong Kong, engaging stakeholders to explore metaverse opportunities. DBS of Singapore, promoting a sustainable world through the metaverse. The Spanish CaixaBank, monthly events in a space called ImagineLand. BNP Paribas provides access to account info. These are just examples. There are many others who started actually banking through the metaverse last year. Now, to use the metaverse, you need a platform, and there are a number of platforms. The banks that I have listed use one of those platforms, Decentraland, Sandbox, Kia in India, and Sharebox. A number of platforms are Ethereum blockchain-based. There are many other platforms like these, such as Roblox, Google, Starline, Microsoft Mesh, NVIDIA Omniverse, Axie Infinity, Sorare, and MetaHero. Interesting news from China a week ago. A Chinese city in the eastern province announced that it is building a government-backed metaverse. Let's just have a look at the Commercial Bank International in the UAE. This is their location in the Decentraland platform. And recently, they started live candidate job interviews at the virtual branch. While the metaverse is taking a backseat in terms of development, artificial intelligence is the new frontier. AI will touch all aspects of our lives. One such example is Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chip company that only a few days ago, I think 4 or 5 days ago, that got its approval from the US FDA to conduct first tests on humans to implant an AI chip inside the human brain. There are the skeptics, however, for such technologies who are intimidated by AI's ability to outstrip humanity, seeing such developments as a threat to our civilization. A thought worth thinking about. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for listening and wish you a pleasant day.
We'd like to extend our sincere appreciation to Mr. Ali Hassan for delivering an exceptional and insightful presentation. Now, before we move ahead, we're proud to announce that the second edition of Alam al-Iqtisad Islamic Banking and Finance Summit will be hosted this year. The summit will discuss the most recent trends, innovations, and technological advancements powering the impressive growth of Islamic banking, finance, and associated fintech sectors. Featuring presentations and dialogues from top experts from Oman and the global market, who will share knowledge and deliberate on the key focal points for Islamic financial institutions in Oman. The Alam al-Iqtisad Oman Islamic Banking and Finance Awards will also be collated at the event. We'd also like to inform you that UMS is coming up with an exciting event very soon, embracing the transformation vision of Oman Vision 2040 and the nation's resolute commitment to digital transformation. OER Live, the esteemed online business portal in Oman, is thrilled to present highly anticipated third edition of OER Live Digital Transformation Conference and Awards on September 10th. Now, this exciting event serves as a dynamic platform that unites industry leaders, technological evangelists, and Oman's top companies. By exploring the latest technological advancements, including the revolutionary ChatGPT-4 developed by OpenAI, the conference will shed light on the global impact of these innovations, and it will delve into ethical considerations in AI, address strategies for adapting to emerging technologies, and much more. Join us as we venture into the future, driving progress and shaping the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have reached an exciting juncture as we transition to the highly anticipated panel discussion. And today's topic of disclosure is going to be navigating the digital age of banking, a subject that encapsulates the transformative landscape we find ourselves in. Our esteemed panel consists of renowned industry leaders hailing from the banking, finance, investment, and technology industries. Together, they will engage in a dynamic debate, shedding light on the evolving dynamics of the financial services sector and exploring strategies to drive digital transformation in order to effectively meet the ever-changing needs of the market. Now, this promises to be a thought-provoking session filled with insightful discussions. Our first panelist of the day is Dr. Tariq Saleh Muhammad Taha, the Chief Information Officer of Bank Dhofar. He has over 21 years of professional experience in banking, telco, and oil and gas industries. At Bank Dhofar, he led the transformation and redesign of the bank's digital banking strategy and revamping of all alternative banking channels, contributing to achieving the strategic goals towards a comprehensive digital transformation. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Taha to the stage. Our next panelist is Mr. Mujahid Zajali, General Manager, IT and Operations at Bank Nizwa, an integral member of Bank Nizwa's administration and Deputy Chairman of the Information Technology Steering Committee. He spearheads the bank's digital transformation and innovation projects. His leadership aligns with the bank's long-term strategic goals and their vision of becoming the preferred digital bank of choice for the people of Oman. Please help me in welcoming Mujahid to the stage. Our next panelist is Engineer Maqbool Al-Wahibi, the CEO of Oman Data Park. He has been the founding team member of Oman Data Park and has been leading the company into trailblazing success by developing solutions tailored to address the digital transformation goals of banks, financial institutions, oil and gas sector, healthcare, government, education, and other professional services. Please help me in welcoming Engineer Maqbool to the stage. And next, we're delighted to welcome to the stage Mr. Ali Lawati, the country leader of Oman and Yemen at Cisco. He spearheads the strategic development of cutting-edge initiatives that drive digital transformation and business growth, with a comprehensive focus on key aspects such as cloud adoption, business services, security and compliance, cost reduction, and mergers and acquisitions. His expertise and vision contribute significantly to the advancement of digital innovation in the industry. Please help me in welcoming Ali Lawati to the stage. Our next distinguished panelist is Mr. Hussein Al-Maimani, Sales Manager, Banking and Energy at GBM Oman. He's an avid promoter and influencer of digital transformation initiatives in the banking and energy sector with in-depth experience in this sector for over a decade. Mr. Maimani has played a vital role in positioning key digital transformation projects across multiple verticals, such as automation, analytics, customer experience, collaboration, security, RPA, and artificial intelligence. Please help me in welcoming Hussein to the stage. And to moderate the session, we're now going to invite Mr. Alvin Thomas, the Assistant Editor of OER Live, an engineer turned technology, automotive, and business journalist. Alvin has been in the media industry in the Sultanate of Oman and the United Arab Emirates for over 9 years. A technophile at heart and a digital media expert by trade, he believes in digital transformation and tech adoption as the way forward when it comes to taking industries into a new era. Please help me in welcoming Alvin to the stage.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, good morning, and it is an honor to have all of you here today. There is a profound saying that resonates quite deeply with me. Transformation is an ongoing journey without a definitive destination. With that said, can I just open the floor with a small question? How many of you here, hand on heart, can tell me that technology is driving the banking, finance, and insurance sectors forwards? Can I see a show of hands? Yeah. So let me take an educated guess that at least 60 to 80% have raised their hands. I have another question as well. How many of you believe in GPT-4 or ChatGPT? That's a bigger show of hands, actually. So that being said, we have the privilege of gathering a remarkable panel of professionals who are boldly challenging traditional models in this expansive industry with technology here. So let's broaden our perspective to encompass the banking, finance, and insurance sectors, industries that are undergoing rapid transformation, that it becomes a challenge to keep at pace with the changes, open APIs, blockchain, AI-driven solutions, the metaverse. They're just some of the examples of advancements that are poised to redefine these sectors. So let's begin deliberating. So I'd like to start with you, Dr. Tariq, if I may. What to you defines true digital or technological transformation for a bank?
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone, Your Excellencies and our esteemed guests. And thank you for the opportunity, Alvin, and the organizers. How do we define digital transformation in digital banking? The question was. And the way I look at that is digital transformation is the ability to use digital technologies and innovative solutions to be able to provide efficiency, internal efficiencies, operational excellence, and a top-class customer experience to the consumers. Now, the question goes towards where do you draw the line about these technology solutions and innovative solutions that we're talking about? And some banks define their digital, if I might say, transformation towards providing a mobile banking app. Some others towards providing a top-class internet banking. Some others are a combination of both. And the way I look at it is to be able to provide an array of channels, of digital channels that addresses the consumer's requirements, at the same time to be able to use the technologies internally such as ChatGPT or AI, RPA, chatbots, and so on, in order to achieve what we're talking about. I'm going to touch base on a statement that you have opened with, which is technology driving the, maybe driving the banking, if I might say, the banking going forward. And I would like to alter that towards consumer requirements or the customer's needs is what really driving this. And technology comes as a solution to make sure that we are delivering the customer needs. And with what's happening today and with the digital disruption, we are able to see that most of the needs are coming through or are able to be catered for through the digital solutions, and hence banks has no option but to adapt and to make sure that they're able to deliver such requirements to these consumers.
Mr. Mujahid, as a banker yourself, what more can you add as one of the most digitally transformed banks as well, Islamic banks in the country?
I think Dr. Tariq already highlighted, it's really, I disagree that it's not about technology which is driving the digital transformation. Again, I agree with Tariq, it's about the consumer needs. If we give the entire responsibility on the technology and leave the requirement part, the demand part, then we are making a big mistake. And but looking at the what's happening, what has been happening, on the AI world and on the API world, and if I may share some numbers with you, the estimates are that the global payment market is going to be, it will grow somewhere around 11 trillion. And the AI, the interactions are going to be on at least 95% in another 1 decade. and seeing the fintech market, which is expected to grow in another 3 years by 303 billion USD. So it's very important for the organizations to basically align and pollinate the strategy, taking into consideration these technological advancements and trends which are happening across the banking industry.
That's remarkable to hear. I'm going to bench customer centricity for just a moment, because I do want to touch upon Open API. So to you, Mr. Hussain, how are Open APIs setting the foundation for open banking, which is critical to this era in banking and fintech?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So basically, we've seen a huge demand around API recently in the region and as well as Oman. And basically, the name of the game is integration, B2B integration. And it really primarily boils down to generating multiple revenue streams for the banks. And we've seen it in white label banking or banking as a service, because as you know, the expression of, banking is necessary, but banks are not. So to stay ahead of the game, ultimately you need to create an API ecosystem and extend your services as much as you can, onboard companies. You want to be able to use your app as a consumer and onboard insurance policies, for example. If you look at, in the UK, grocery stores like Sainsbury's or Tesco's, they have their own ATMs back-ended by a bank. So it's merely an extension of an API. So it's very important. It lays the foundation for open banking. And it has a real impact on the business value as well.
That's good to hear. Now, Mr. Ali, can you just elaborate a bit on banking as a service? Now, how are open APIs actually making this possible or viable? If I may just hear your side of things.
Yes, thank you very much, first of all. So let's understand what is API first. Now, it creates a platform in a way to share data and information so we can invent on it and develop solutions. Now, sharing data is very critical, and there are many institutions are very conservative about it. But if you see, that platform enables you to do it securely, and then it also promotes innovation and collaboration. That's the way the fintech will be established and grow. So the banks in today's world, like Barclays, like Citibank. So Barclays, they have done something called Barclays Developer Network, and Citibank, they did the City Developer Hub. So they're opening their APIs. So basically what they're saying, we are going to share our data with fintechs and with the startups and with financial developers and companies so that they can develop new applications to improve their services and to improve the customer experience. Now, this is the foundation to make the open banking. So that's where we'll lead by having more open APIs to promote more open and digital banks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Dr. Tariq, I just want to build on this. How do you see the regulatory system developing that is conducive to open banking?
Well, as we speak, I mean, there's been some discussions between the banks and the Central Bank of Oman about a draft framework that's supposed to be coming out in regards to the open banking. I do know that ourselves have ventured with small, if I might say, trials and experiences around open banking, and I do know some other banks are doing the same. Having said that, we are a little bit more greedy when it comes to banks. And His Excellency touched base on the third part of his presentation about the central bank coming up with frameworks and regulations to enable banks to venture into these areas. But I would really like I would like to see us as the trendsetters. And what do I mean by that is, whenever there is a space, we would like to venture into that, and we would like to be able to maybe test and experience, and then maybe the results out of these experiences could act as an input towards coming up with the frameworks and the regulations. And by doing this, that would really set us at the forefront of technology, as opposed to us being looked at as, if I might say, the safe adopters of technology. So from that aspect and being here, I would really like maybe to have a mindset shift, and I'm not talking only about the regulators, I'm talking about the ecosystem as a whole, that we really need to venture into that new space and to be able to take maybe some calculated risks. And that's the only way that will enable us to be at the forefront of technology.
Can I just add on this? I think I may share a story. Two scientists, you know, they were working on a problem, and for years they were not able to solve the problem and to crack this, this issue. When they collaborated with the third scientist came and brought an idea out of the box, and they were able to crack this out. So I think the banks, they need to now collaborate with the fintechs, companies which are, in order to define a new revenue line streams. Now, if you just see the story in Europe, payments service directive came, and majority of the banks, they started collaborating with each other and the fintech companies in sharing and opening the APIs. Saudi Arabia, they came with the framework. Bahrain has already come up with the framework. UAE, we are waiting. I think maybe most probably very soon they will come up. Our CBO, our regulator is also working. We are into discussions. So banks in Oman, they are, I guess, brainstorming internally and finding out what kind of logistics or infrastructure would be required to roll out this open banking solutions. But maybe we really need to see what will be in that framework and how are we going to share the customer data, and accordingly we will be able to progress in this.
All right. Now, OpenAPI is one aspect of things, but the moment we bring AI to the mix, everything is just taken a complete fast forward, a turbocharge. Now, my question to you, Engineer Makbul, as somebody who has introduced AI as a front runner, in fact, can you talk to me about how Nebula AI has helped you come in as an early mover and how you're able to change the course of banking potentially in the coming years?
Yeah, thank you very much. I loved to be a listener, actually. So I was wishing that you're going to jump the questions to the other party. I like listening more. But then, yeah, first of all, let's go one step back, and I would like to sincerely thank the Central Bank of Oman for driving the technology, the e-banking technology, or the financial ecosystem in terms of technology for fast forward. And we are actually under pressure as a technology vendors, trying to deliver and trying to be up to speed with the financial sector and the banking sector demand in terms of technology. So that's a great momentum and agility that we see in Oman, and we appreciate the efforts from the banking sector and the central bank. Secondly, going to what Dr. Tariq and Mujahid was saying about the consumers, about let's say the new oil of the banking sector is actually the consumer base that they have. The consumer base that the banking sector today has, it's very much accredited. It's very much under a great KYC. They've been audited. They've been connected to AML, and so their legitimacy is very much accredited. And with the API on the other side, open API and the digital banking here, those three elements combined can bring us to another value on the value chain on the banking sector, which we call cross-industrial platform. And that is where the banking sector should start focusing. What other banks we see in worldwide are doing nothing but stressing on the cross-industrial platform through open API, through banking as a service, utilizing the consumer base that they have. And that's where we come as Oman Data Park, for instance, as a value on the value chain by allowing this cross-industrial platform to happen not only seamlessly, but economically as well, without having to bear a lot of cost around it. We have under one roof fintechs today, and we have the banks, and we have also the other, let's say, services, government services, and so on and so forth, real estate and government services. Those are the cross-industrial platform that I was talking about, the banks can actually capitalize on. I give you a good example that has happened in Kazakhstan, for instance, in a bank called Kaspi in 2004. They have started opening an e-commerce window. They are a bank. They went into the e-commerce by providing themselves a window over e-commerce platform. They utilize the KYC, they utilize the accreditation that they have over the AML and so on and so forth. And they also went one step further by providing buy now, pay later over that. And then they extended that service into providing real estate end-to-end kind of consultancy. So the bank customer, when they go to Kaspi for buying or for getting, let's say, a mortgage around buying a house, it's not only getting a mortgage that the bank is worried about now. It's about providing that customer an end-to-end journey by providing him, you know what, you are actually, we can uplift your mortgage by another 20%. And guess what? There is a house here, or maybe a couple of houses here you might need to consider. So they connect him over one pane of glass to be able to choose the right house, the right let's say, credits that they can get over mortgage, and they can also provide him with insurance over that property, for instance. So what happens here, we are extending, as a bank, we are actually extending our services across industrial platform that I was talking about by utilizing the open API that the bank is actually thinking of having. And that's where Nebula that we provide can actually provide you those cross-industrial platform.
You're actually right about the cross-industrial platforms being one of the, at the forefront of the banking revolution. And Mr. Hussain, if you can just touch upon how important that data sharing aspect is, because none of this would happen without shared data. Can you just touch upon that, please?
Absolutely. So you've mentioned AI, and we always, what we try and promote is that if you take the acronym AI, artificial intelligence, and flip it, it gives you IA, information architecture. And you can't have AI without IA, without a proper information architecture, without a proper data strategy. So data is key, like what Mr. Engineer Maqbool mentioned. And it's really about defining your data strategy, where you are, where you want to achieve, and how do you want to get there. And it's a full-fledged process. So you need to start with, your data cleansing, your data structuring, and then you need to start with, a repository where you set up a data lake or a data warehouse, and then you start doing the analytics part and the data science part, and then comes the visualization. And what we've noticed in many corporates is that sometimes they skip to the virtualization part, and they don't go through the whole process. But it's very essential. You can have low-hanging fruits as you go, but it's very important to have your full data strategy set up clearly. And it's basically utilizing that data for hyper-personalization, knowing your customers better. And banks do have access to a huge amount of data. So this is it, basically setting up your data strategy. There's one more important element, which is the culture element. So you need to instill that culture of being a data-driven bank. You need to empower your employees to drive decisions, business decision, using data. So once you do that, you'll notice the real power of data and the real value that you can leverage and get insights out of.
Mr. Ali, do you think the industries in question here, banking, finance, insurance, are utilizing data for business precision and business efficiency? How is the knowledge in the sector? How are they utilizing data sharing right now?
I mean, in terms of AI, how being adopted globally and locally. So AI, I believe, and it's not only me, is the most disruptive technology will change the world. I know there's no doubt about it. We're seeing ChatGPT, you said, you saw Mr. Ali Hassan talking about it. And the future is really scary and optimistic. If we look today, yes, we are seeing many banks adopting AI in terms of their applications, in terms of their infrastructure. But of course, there's a lot of room for improvement because AI can not only improve your IT infrastructure in terms of automation, orchestration, threat detection, preventive maintenance, and etc., but also can help in risk management, fraud detection, credit scoring, because all these manual processes can be automated through AI. So probably we are at a starting stage at some places in the industry, but some have taken a leap forward on those various directions, which is whether on the business side or their own processes or their own infrastructure. So it varies, but if you look the future, things will change dramatically. Whatever we're doing today, using our employees and using our processes, a lot of things can go artificial intelligence and digitally. And this needs to make a pause and think in the coming 20 years, if we have kind of a strategy, how every 5 years we're going to change to adopt these new innovations in AI.
Perfect. I think the AI journey is moving very fast and quick, and the danger with the generative AIs and cognitive AIs now, which have come, they are not only looking at the curation part, but the creation part. Now, I feel we really need a proper regulation on this. Otherwise, to control this will be really very...
Do you think this regulation has to come locally or from international bodies?
I think locally will not be enough. There should be a collaboration at international level.
Yeah. I wanted to raise this question a little ahead, but let me bring it up now that you've actually spoken about it. And one of the key worries about AI is its ability to enable or disable cybersecurity systems. As a report that was published recently by Home Security Forces stated that PassGAN, it's an MIT licensed code that is published to the public on GitHub. It can breach 51% of all common passwords in less than a minute and 71% in less than a day. Now, this is quite worrying. So how is AI actually impacting cybersecurity for banks? It's for you.
It has already impacted. We are seeing a lot of bin attacks, a lot of things are happening in the market.
So Engineer Maqbool, maybe can you shed some light on systems that can be put in place that we can keep as defense walls, maybe using AI to fight AI?
In the cybersecurity space,
Yes.
you mean? Yeah, that's a very interesting topic because cybersecurity is becoming very, very much important due to the fact that we are all driven by the digitalization mandates nowadays in the banking sector and the financial sector as a whole. Now, the artificial intelligence is becoming also a vital component in the cybersecurity space, not only for the good guys, but also for the bad guys, unfortunately. So bad guys are also using artificial intelligence to seek ways in order to penetrate our systems and databases and data. And that is what we are stressing with the financial sector. And I think with the mandates of the central bank, and we are very much deploying AI systems today at different levels of the infrastructure, be it at DMZ zones or maybe at physical elements of the equation. I don't want to go into so deep technical detail, but then what I'm seeing is there is a good opportunities as well for the SME sector in Oman in order to invest on getting themselves at the forefront of developing applications and systems that would be an AI-based systems for safeguarding our data in different aspects of the value chain. They might not cover everything, but I think there are some elements, and I think the fintechs are very much working on that element. But I see it as an opportunity, especially in Oman. We have great resources in Oman in terms of cybersecurity. We just need to direct them, and I think with the financial sector focus on the SME sector, I think we can develop a lot of ecosystem around cybersecurity in Oman.
Yes, so banks are one aspect of the industry, of course. So with fintechs in place and smaller quick rising fintechs, Mr. Ali, can you talk about how we can use cybersecurity as a key factor in ensuring the safety in the day of AI, in the age of AI?
So security is very, very complex. It's not very easy. It's so fragmented. And every digital asset and user have to be secured and protected. Whether it is, we are talking about the entry level of the customer, the devices they have, the users, going through the journey. If you see the data, how it flows, every transaction needs to be secured. So it's very complex. You start from a mobile device. Is it secure to access your application or not, for example? What we are doing to make sure it's secure or not. So there are solutions for it, for example. Then you go through the journey of connecting through the mobile operators or any other operators you have. Is that secure? So there are other things to secure it. Then you go to the bank itself. It's a journey, and if you look at it, we, in the industry, we're dividing into 3 zones. We call it the user and the device security. We call it the network and data center security within the IT infrastructure of the bank. And then the last one, which is a bit ignored, is the application itself, the application security. Now, many security leaders in the industry, they are developing solutions, but they are a bit fragmented. So what Cisco have done, they have announced last year, they are going to strategize to develop an end-to-end platform for Cisco, we call it Cisco Cloud Security, to take out the burden, and I believe ODP also doing something similar, to take out the burden from the customers of that security, how can be protected to somewhere where it is much simple and to the more to the who are the experts in this area. It's a journey that started. I think is gaining a lot of momentum. Probably in the coming 1 or 2 years, it will be properly announced. Others are also working. But the key is, if the industry are going to work in silos, it's a nightmare because everybody is coming up with a solution and they are not talking to each other. And once there is no integration, there is no point of having security because anywhere the hackers, and the hackers are very brilliant, with AI, they are really, really taking a major leap. And it will continue to grow in an immense way, as Mujahid said. I mean, you will not imagine in the coming 3-4 years what AI can do for them, and especially when quantum computing will come, it will be a blast. So the industry itself needs to gear up to work more integration when it's not happening. There are some good ways. That's why some companies taking the initiative to do it end-to-end to make sure that the whole solution is integrated from the day the customer enters and the day he gets his results in the transaction. Thanks.
I think maybe if you allow me, the 2 elements that we've noticed that we need more focus on are the basically AI-based prediction security engines, firewalling engines. ML. Exactly. And that is to solve the zero-day attacks. That is where our challenges are. Zero-day attacks are attacks that happens today, and there are no patching for it. So they are very new, and we are not ready for it. So that is where you need prediction. You need AI to predict those kind of attacks, and we get ready for that. That's a big challenge that the industry is and I'm sure IBM and Cisco are working on that very closely, and some of the banking sector already deployed those engines. The second element is over social engineering, and I tell you, people are within your industry, within your banks, within your organization are a threat to your systems. So the more you uplift their awareness, the more you conduct social engineering kind of test on them, the better chance you can actually safeguard your data.
I think just to add, since Mr. Engineer Maqbool highlighted the zero-day attack, there are solutions like virtual patching. Cisco and other companies, they have these kind of skill sets or technologies which are available for the banks. So whenever these kind of threats they come, you are connected with Trend Micro, like for example, or Cisco. They give you the solution to protect you till you go and roll out or patch these viruses. The second one, maybe the protection and detection capabilities need to be powered with AI technology. So that could be one of the solution for the banking industry.
Okay. So Hussein, I also have a question for you, just building on the social engineering aspect as well. One of the things that AI has broken down is barriers in the social world. In fact, like everything that a person that would talk about to a normal person would be actually input on ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure about that. And I'm sure that at least like 80%, I'm just taking an estimated guess here, have tried it out at some point. So that's more data points for AI to have collected. How much is that impacting cybersecurity here with the social engineering aspect?
It's impacting it very much. So it is the big question. So you mentioned AI, you mentioned data, open APIs. The big question comes, how do you secure all of this? And to cater to that need, what we've done as GBM, as a system integrator, is that we've developed a cyber defense program, which is end-to-end, that covers many touch points. It covers the data part, the application part, the hybrid network part, the cloud part. And we've branded it as GBM Shield. And it's vendor agnostic. So depending on the use case, we can select the product that would be able to develop a solution for that particular aspect. And what we've noticed is that it's really case by case, and it's very complex. And it would take ages to cover how comprehensive it is. But what we've tried to do is even develop on top of it, which we've launched recently, is our SOC, Security Operations Center, which is built on a very advanced MDR, Managed Detection and Response, which is basically injecting even AI capabilities to automate it as much as you can. So it is very important. It's key to make sure that with all of this, you adhere to the highest level of security, to make sure that no threats can be exposed.
Yeah. Yes, please, Dr. Tariq.
I mean, we've talked about AI and using it in, if I might say, a negative aspect towards, trying to have attacks and so on. But let's remember that AI is nothing but a new technology. And this has happened with all new technologies in the past and will continue to happen as we go forward. It'll always have a positive aspect and a negative aspect. And just like how powerful it could be used in a negative aspect, it again could be used in a positive manner to make sure that you safeguard your systems, that you uplift your security level, to make sure that you've safeguarded and you're using it in the right direction to try and prevent such attacks from happening. So yes, it could be used in a negative manner, but that's not something new. That has happened with all the disruptive technologies that have happened in the past and will continue to happen as we go forward.
I agree. So Dr. Tariq, my next question is also to you, and it's also building on something that Ali spoke of, which is system integration. Now, this is undeniably the season of mergers and acquisitions, and as Bank Dhofar, a bank that has expressed considerable interest in this regard, how important is it that banks adopt new practices so that there is seamless integration between banks in case of a merger?
Okay, I mean, from a technology perspective, there is nothing called seamless integration. You know, there's a lot of work towards integration and so on, but the point is, how prepared are you? How much at the forefront of technology you are, and you've prepared yourself and infrastructure in order to be in a position, in a positive position to tackle such challenges that you might come across. But let's look at it from the other side. And again, I go to the consumer side. And there is not one single entity that's the best in everything. And the reason I say that is whenever you have two entities and one of them excels in certain areas while the other excels in others, the whole idea is how do I enable integration by keeping the best of both and bringing it up in the new entity. And this is the most important aspect that we need to look at. Seamless, it's not going to be seamless. There's going to be a lot of hard work, but that all happens with proper planning and proper preparation to make sure that the impact on the customers is minimized.
Mujahid, do you have anything to share on this topic?
I would say, it's never going to be seamless or frictionless, like, you know, we keep hearing these buzzwords, because the banks, they really depend on the core banking system. And it really depends which bank's core banking system is more superior in terms of functionalities and features. And then the data migration becomes easy. So it really nails down to the core banking system. If you have a core banking system which is not low-coded core banking system, then you are having big challenges in that, whereby you will need more efforts, more skills, more development to integrate, basically.
So Mujahid, my next question is also to you. It's also on something that Ali Hassan Musa, he spoke of, was the metaverse, and that's something you've also been speaking of quite lately. So can we hear something about the metaverse that is actually redefining the banking sector? Because I do have to say that there's a lot of pros and cons on the table right now, as Mr. Ali quite rightly pointed out. What do you think is driving the change towards metaverse right now?
I think mainly because of metaverse being more immersive, interactive, and real-time virtual environment that controls the senses and emotions. So that's why this is really, I mean, our teenagers or kids are more attached towards being in virtual universe, playing Minecraft games or Call of Duty and others. But in banking, I think it's too early. I mean, we are just talking about it. Ali gave some use cases in Dubai. ENBD is working and CBI. But maybe you can launch virtual branch, or but still, because that depends also coming out with the framework of on the framework of digital assets. So that also needs to be established, and then accordingly we can progress in that.
Yeah. So Engineer Maqbool, I also want to talk about an extension, maybe not the metaverse as such, but you do have Okudo, which you are utilizing for eKYCs under 30 seconds. How can you just elaborate a bit on this? And I want to also talk about the metaverse with you.
Thank you. Basically, on the last couple of months, we have launched two products. The first is the onboarding product from Ukudo. They are here, by the way. You can talk to them. Onboarding that is very much integrated with KYC in order to provide you with the seamless kind of end-to-end digital journey to your customers and consumers. We have used it actually lately, and we're going to use it in Al Shura election as well. We've used it in municipality elections already, so people do not have to go on taking their ID cards physically into the physical location. They can do it electronically through the mobile, and that's exactly what we are bringing on board, and that's the onboarding solution with digital signature. The second is UCAS, Unified Communication and Collaboration Solution from Cisco. And that would provide you, again, with an economical way of collaborating between your branches and your banks in a very economical sense. With those two products, I think we can bring a value into your value chain in an economical way. We are also studying the AML part. I understand that AML is a very vital component as well. We want to localize it. We want to have it as much as possible localized in Oman. And that is something we are currently working on, hand in hand with a couple of financial institutes. And the idea is to, again, I would stress on the fact that for the banking sector to leapfrog for the future, they need to do three things, actually. The first is to appreciate the consumer base, the data that they have, the oil that they have. Their consumer-based data is the oil of the bank. It's not the infrastructure. It's not the technology that they have to think first. It's the consumer-based data. Secondly, they have to think of ways to diversify. What is their strength point? Do they want to start thinking about opening e-commerce? Do they want to start providing retail-like consultancy or services, and so on and so forth? So it's important to think about their strength in order to diversify and move forward. And the third element is cloudification. With the CBO cloud-first mandate that have been already circulated, I think almost a year ago now, I think the financial sector of Oman has a good means of utilizing cloud in order to have their investment on infrastructure economical and agile and scalable. So it provides you scalability, agility, and also the financial sector would be able to move the equation from the 70-30 equation. 70% operation and 30% innovation would be actually flipped over by having 70% innovation, focusing on your consumer and customer base, and 30% operation by outsourcing the 70% into cloud.
So can you shed some light on this as well, Dr. Tariq? Adopting a cloud-first policy?
Right. When we're talking about cloud, first of all, let me start by a misconception that a lot of people have, which is cloud, or the way to go cloud is to save costs. So let's make it clear that this is not the real driver of going cloud. It's the opportunities that going cloud opens up for you. We, Bank Dhofar, we really believe that this is the way forward, and it opens up a lot of opportunities for us. And we started working on that. And just recently, we have moved out our data centers towards Oman Data Park as a first step to embark on the real cloud journey. I mean, there has been some smaller elements of cloud that we have embarked on before, but we're looking at going at a much higher scale and a much higher level, and hence we've started that work about a year and a half ago with ODP that was successfully concluded a few months ago, and now we're looking at expanding it into the next level. And as I said, it's the opportunities, and it's taking away some of the efforts and the operational tasks that's not your bread and butter as a bank, and you focus on you really want to do, and leave the other operational tasks and the other if I might say, efforts to the people who know how to do it best from that aspect, as well as time to market whenever you want to embark on whatever the requirement is it expansion or new systems or new services becomes much faster.
Thank you, Dr. Tariq. Now, I do have a last question just before.
That's actually a very brave initiative and decision that Bank Dhofar has made, after, of course, Bank Nizwa and the others. So I hope the other financial institute would actually start appreciating the economical. It's not about technology. It's about how economical you can run your business. That's it. It's the economical side of the story. Technology, you have gurus of technology. They know technology more than us. It's just that what are we bringing to the equation is the economical factor. That's it.
It's a pain in the neck, as they say, managing the data center by yourself. It's better it is with the specialist.
Engineer Maqbool, we've actually been to one of your data centers, so it's actually quite phenomenal. You have a very nice team as well. I've gone through that. So this question wasn't in the mix today, but His Excellency spoke quite passionately about it. And I think there's a lot of merit in raising up sustainability and ESG into the factor. So Hussein, I want to just ask you this question. How are banks focusing its attention on sustainability and the greater goals of ESG? And how are you as GBM helping move this forwards?
All right, so sustainability is coming up a lot now, but it's very important to understand where did sustainability come and where did ESG come from. So in the past few years, a lot of organizations, not just banks, have been thinking to move away from being shareholder-driven banks to a stakeholder-driven bank, where shareholders are part of the stakeholders, but then you have the environment, you have the employees, you have the partners, and you have the customers. And you need to include all of that once you're driving change into the bank. And ESG is really important because it's not only about financial balance and reporting, it's also going to be on non-financial things like ESG reporting. So very soon you will start hearing mandates on reporting on your ESG. And there's many banks here in Oman as well where they've appointed VPs of ESG, or they've appointed committees from various business functions and formed an ESG committee. And to cater to that, as GBM, what we've done is that we've built our own brand called Istidama, GBM Istidama, which does the assessment part. So it tells you where you are today from an ESG perspective. It has an analytics tool, so it can do the reporting for you. You feed it data into it, and it gives you all that reporting. And we see a lot of appetite in when it comes to ESG.
Perfect. I'm being policed for time a bit, so I have to take ending statements now. So what would be your wish list, Dr. Tariq, if I may ask? What would be your wish list for the year 2023? And are there any key announcements that you are looking forward to from the regulators as well for 2024?
Well, if it's one wish list, it would be the framework for the open API. I really believe that would really change the ecosystem when it comes to banking. Will have a lot of opportunities for fintechs and for end consumers to really look at banking in a different manner, and it will enable us as bank to take our services to the next level.
Mr. Mujahid?
One wish list. Lifestyle banking. Under one umbrella, we have one super app under one umbrella, which can, banks are there, fintech companies are there, and all merchandisers are there.
That's a very ambitious one. But we really look forward to that.
Inshallah.
We're hoping for that. Engineer Maqbool?
Yeah, I have two wishes.
Okay.
The first is cloudification. Please go cloud. It doesn't have to be Oman Dara Park, but you have to go cloud. It is good for you. It is economical. So go cloud. And the CBO have actually made it very clear, and they had set the roadmap forward for cloudification. And the second is the cross-industrial platform, the CIP, cross-industrial platform. Think about it, and let's not be cocooned within our infrastructure. Let's use the API integration into cross-industrial platform. Thank you.
Ali, you can have 3 now.
There are many wish lists. But I believe my wish list for today, for the banking, especially the summit, is don't be afraid of technology. There are a lot of things the vendors and solutions like us providers, there's a lot of innovation we have in our solutions. And unfortunately, it needs sometimes guts, because things have been done in most of the time traditional way. And taking the risk, not in a calculated risk, of course, that will really uplift the whole solution architect or the whole process of the things that they want to act for. And also, last one is involve us as a business with the business. Today, the vendors that are treated very much like a technology provider. We have elevated that part. Cisco is no more network or telephone. we are understanding the business. In US and other European, we engage our advisory services, and they work with the banks, how they can achieve a specific ROI, how to achieve a specific bank vision. And that's, in a sense, the way to interact with the partners today. Those days gone, you have an RFP also come and put a switch, a phone. Now, what the phone you want for, what the business value for it. And if you engage us early, we have advisory services where we can see, don't talk about the technology itself. Tell me what business value you need and work with you on terms of the financial transaction for it. Thank you.
Hussein.
I think I have the same wish list, but I need to reiterate on something which is very important as well that we are facing. My wish list is to engage us early. A lot of the technologies like AI and data, internally, banks build a business case for, and they need to have a justified ROI. If we engage early and we understand how technology can help achieve the business goals, it will be more impactful. So engage us early, have a digital transformation journey, accelerate your digital transformation journey, and really put a roadmap. That's my wish list.
Thank you so much, Hussein. Unfortunately, again, I've just been policed. We don't have time for questions from the audience. So let me just take this opportunity to thank all of you gentlemen here today for providing us very valuable insights. Also, thank you to the organizing team. Your Excellencies, thank you so much for being here today, giving us the chance to present this in front of you. And we look forward to having you here again. Thank you.
Thank you all for such an engaging debate. Now, following this serious deliberation, it's now time to embrace the spirit of celebration. It gives us great pleasure to introduce the prestigious Oman Banking and Finance Awards, an esteemed initiative designed to honor the exceptional accomplishments of top performers in the realm of banking, finance, investment, insurance, and technology within the Sultanate. This platform serves as a beacon of recognition, spotlighting those who have demonstrated excellence and made significant contributions to their respective fields. Let's now come together to applaud and appreciate these remarkable achievements. The winners of this year's Oman Banking and Finance Awards have been selected based on a survey of banks and NBFCs done by OER and United Securities. The survey was based on the banks and NBFC's financial performance on various parameters over the last 4 years during 2019 till 2022. The banks with total assets of above 3.5 billion Omani riyals by the end of 2022 were considered for the large bank category awards, whereas banks with total assets below 3.5 billion Omani riyals were placed in the mid-size banks category. Overall, we're going to present 17 awards, including the special awards across banking, finance, investment, insurance, and technology domains. We now request our Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency Tahir Salim Al-Amri, and Mr. Atulya Sharma and Mr. Saeed Al-Mashani to please come up on stage to present the Oman Banking and Finance Awards. So the first set of awards this morning is in the Insurance and Digital Transformation in the BFSI segment. We start with the Award of Excellence in Insurance Services. The winner offers a wide range of products and services to protect individuals, health, home, businesses, and assets. They have a strong in-house claims management system, well-trained staff, and prioritize customer satisfaction through personalized solutions. With over 190 sales service touchpoints, they also have a wide geographical reach. Their state-of-art systems and technology enables easy policy buying and efficient after-sales service, and also provides online digital insurance and a mobile app for purchasing, renewing insurance, managing claims, and customer support. Ladies and gentlemen, we present the first award of the day, Excellence in Insurance Services to National Life and General Insurance. Big round of applause for National Life and General Insurance. Our next award is for System Integrator of the Year for the BFSI sector. The winning company has emerged as a key catalyst in propelling the digital transformation journey across diverse sectors, notably including government, energy, and banking. By leveraging their expertise and innovative solutions, they have enabled organizations in these sectors to navigate the complex landscape of the digital age successfully. Through their strategic partnership, the company also offers cutting-edge technologies and tailored approaches to empower its customers to stay ahead of the curve and harness the full potential of digital innovation. The winner of Systems Integrator of the Year for the BFSI sector is GBM. Big round of applause to GBM. Our next award is for 10 years of excellence in digital transformation. The winning company stands as a dynamic force propelling Oman by spearheading the path towards digitalization. With its remarkable track record, it has played a pivotal role in facilitating the digital transformation of numerous public and private institutions. Embracing the profound shift towards digitalization, the company has devised a comprehensive and robust 360-degree IT solutions plan that aligns itself with the pillars outlined by Oman's Vision 2040. This strategic blueprint encompasses cutting-edge initiatives such as AI implementation, cloud services, and the establishment of an extensive network of data centers. Notably, from its humble beginnings with a single data center, the company is now rapidly expanding its reach and impact, soon to launch its fourth and fifth centers. The winner is Oman Data Park. Congratulations to Oman Data Park. The next award is Digital Transformation Partner of the Year for the BFSI sector. Since its establishment in 1987, the winning company has emerged as a leading technology solutions provider across the region, with a diverse range of services and solutions including cloud services, cybersecurity, digital infrastructure, digital transformation, digital banking, smart kiosks, applications, and managed services. The company delivers cutting-edge advancements to businesses throughout strategic partnerships with global technology leaders. The company has also multiple offices across Oman, UAE, KSA, and Kuwait, and a team of about 400 digital specialists that ensure the delivery of advanced and reliable solutions. The winner of Digital Transformation Partner of the Year in the BFSI sector is CNS. Round of applause to CNS, please. The next award is Digital Innovation Leader of the Year. The winning individual has an impressive track record of over 25 years in the IT and telecom sector, encompassing exceptional leadership, management, and expertise in digital transformation. His focus spans vital areas such as cloud adoption, business services, security and compliance, cost reduction, as well as mergers and acquisitions for diverse clientele. Notably, he achieved great success in completing the company's proof of concept POC solution with TRA and Omantel, with facilitating the provisions of broadband connectivity to remote villages utilizing Wi-Fi 6 technology. Furthermore, he has also been instrumental in promoting the company's globally recognized Network Academy, which has been integrated into the curriculum of 16 colleges and academies across Oman, certifying approximately 11,000 students to date. The winner of the Digital Innovation Leader of the Year is Mr. Ali Lawati, the country leader of Oman and Yemen from Cisco. round of applause for Ali. Our next award category is for excellence in credit information services. The winning company has revolutionized the credit reporting landscape in Oman, elevating it from a conventional basic credit information report to a world-class credit reporting experience. Notably, they've championed financial inclusion by incorporating the SME sector's exposure into their comprehensive consumer and corporate credit portfolio. Moreover, they have introduced a widely utilized credit score for both individuals and businesses, marking the first implementation of this globally recognized measure in the Sultanate. This pioneering move has opened up boundless opportunities for lenders to embrace the digital lending era and explore new avenues of growth. The winner of Excellence in Credit Information Services is Mala'a. Congratulations to Mala'a. The next award is New Corporate Identity of the Year. The winning company successfully underwent a comprehensive rebranding initiative, resulting in a striking new corporate identity that reflects its vision, values, and commitment to innovation. The new identity has garnered significant attention and praise, resonating strongly with clients and industry experts as well as the stakeholders. This fresh, modern approach has elevated the company's market presence, leading to increased brand recognition and trust within the financial industry. With enhanced internal cohesion and pride among employees, the successful implementation of the new corporate identity fosters a stronger sense of unity and motivation within the organization. The winner of the new corporate identity of the year is National Finance. Congratulations to National Finance. The next award is for the new website of the year. The winning website provides a user-friendly interface that is easy to navigate, simplistic, and is responsive on all devices. It offers recommended products, interactive elements like a loan calculator, as well as enables users to compare between cards, enabling customers to personalize their banking experience. Getting closer to you every day, the bank continues to expand its digital and physical footprint to provide customers with the best services across all platforms. The winner is Bank Dhofar. Congratulations to Bank Dhofar. Our next award is for excellence in corporate banking. The winning bank's corporate banking division excels in delivering comprehensive and customized banking solutions across various industries. With a customer-centric approach, their service offering is further strengthened by industry specialists who provide expert guidance and support. Some of its key specialization sectors include food and general trading, manufacturing, energy and utilities, real estate, contracting, travel and tourism, among a lot more. The bank caters to diverse needs of large, medium, and small corporations, offering a wide array of financial products and services. This includes term loans that facilitate capital expenditure for establishing new units, undertaking expansion and modernization projects both in infrastructure and non-infrastructure sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the winner, Ahli Bank. Congratulations to Ahli Bank. Moving on, our next award is for the industry leader in digital banking. The winning company has redefined banking in Oman with their innovative approach. Using cutting-edge technology, the company offers seamless experience, setting new benchmark for customer satisfaction. Its solutions cater to diverse needs, empowering individuals and businesses to thrive in the digital age. The company leverages its advanced mobile apps and unified transaction banking platform to streamline operations, improve efficiency, and offer customers a seamless banking experience. These technological advancements not only contribute to the bank's objectives, but also align with the broader societal goal of promoting a paperless world. And the winner for industry leader in digital banking is Sohar International. Congratulations to Sohar International. Our next award category is Excellence in Digital Transformation. The winning organization recently launched an express digital banking service as part of its customer-centric approach and digitization efforts. This state-of-art facility, which is located at the head office in Wataya and Medinat Sultan Qaboos branch, marks the bank's first digital branch by prioritizing the needs of tech-savvy customers who prefer digital fulfillment. The bank sets a new standard in banking with its multifunctional devices and advanced digital capabilities. It also cemented its position as an industry leader in private banking and wealth management with the introduction of its new digital wealth system. Designed for its wealth management customers, the state-of-art system enables online viewing of investment profiles, online trading of mutual funds, creation of systematic investment plans, portfolio analysis, comparison, assets allocation, as well as model portfolios, and a lot more. Aligned with the bank's digitalization strategy, this launch showcases commitment to becoming a premier destination, offering comprehensive range of products and services to meet the diverse needs of its customers. The winner of Excellence in Digital Transformation is Ahli Bank. Congratulations to Ahli Bank. The next award is for industry leadership in innovative Islamic banking services. The winning bank has prioritized customer convenience by revamping its mobile banking app and introducing unique features such as instant money transfer, salary advances, and beneficiary management. With the integration of microservices, the app seamlessly incorporates new functionalities while ensuring a smooth experience for the customer. Notably, the bank has also become the first Islamic bank in Oman to offer Sharia-compliant, eco-friendly credit and debit cards, showcasing its commitment to sustainability. The bank further expanded its sustainable product offering, including sustainability-linked financing for businesses dedicated to sustainable practices, and is embracing digital innovation with the introduction of its first digital-only branch at the Mall of Oman, providing a paperless and unmanned experience. The winner of Industry Leader in Innovating Islamic Banking Services is Bank Nizwa. Congratulations to Bank Nizwa. Our next award is for the CEO of the Year. The winner is an accomplished leader in the banking and finance sector whose illustrious career spans over 2 decades. Throughout his journey, he's exhibited unparalleled dedication and remarkable acumen, propelling him to the pinnacle of success in the industry. His journey with the bank began many years ago. He has since served in various senior management positions, demonstrating his valuable expertise in corporate banking, retail banking, risk management, finance, and banking operations. Now, under his astute leadership, the bank has witnessed remarkable growth and success, consistently achieving its strategic objectives while upholding the highest standards of operational efficiency. His visionary approach has enabled the bank to maintain a strong corporate culture, one that is deeply rooted in the customer-centric ethos, innovation, and transparency. One of the key aspects of his leadership style is his unwavering belief in collective decision-making. A collaborative and inclusive approach has been instrumental in driving the bank's growth, expanding its customer base, and strategically enhancing both digital and physical branches, all while continuously elevating the customer experience. His tireless dedication to the bank and the industry as a whole has earned him the admiration and respect of his peers, and his strategic vision, coupled with his ability to adapt to an ever-evolving landscape, has propelled the bank to new heights, solidifying its position as a leader in the financial sector. The winner of the CEO of the Year goes to Mr. Saeed Abdullah Al-Hatmi, the CEO of Ahli Bank. Now, unfortunately, Saeed could not be with us here today, but on his behalf, Ms. Juman Al-Hashmi, Head of Marketing and Corporate Comms, will be receiving the award. A big round of applause for Saeed Al-Hatmi. Congratulations to Saeed Al-Hatmi and to Ahli Bank. Now we're going to present 4 awards as per the OER and United Securities survey of the best banks and non-banking financial companies. The first award is in the segment of Best Non-Banking Finance and Leasing Company. The winning company has successfully rebranded itself and demonstrated exceptional performance in terms of asset quality, sustainability, productivity, and efficiency, positioning itself as the top performer in its industry. The winner for the Best Non-Banking Finance and Leasing Company is National Finance. Congratulations to National Finance. Our next award is for the best bank in the mid-size bank segment. The winning bank has come on top on the strength of its best performance and parameters, including growth, asset quality, sustainability, productivity, and efficiency. The winner of the best bank in the mid-size category is Bank Nizwa. Congratulations to Bank Nizwa. The next award is for the best bank in growth. The winning bank's strong market performance and sustainable growth exemplifies its successful strategies. With impressive financial results, the company consistently delivers value, and its customer-centric approach, innovative solutions, and excellent service have earned trust and inviolable reputation. The winning company has undoubtedly showcased remarkable resilience and efficient resource management, positioning itself as a prominent player in the banking sector. With its exemplary performance, the company is today the second largest bank in Oman in terms of total assets, and this achievement is a testament to the bank's robust strategy and its ability to navigate through challenging market conditions. The winner of the Best Bank in Growth award goes to Sohar International. Congratulations again to Sohar International. Now this brings us to the last award of the day, and this award is for the best bank in the large bank segment. The winning bank has performed consistently over the years, and as a result, it has made it to the top this year for the 5th year in a row. The bank has achieved remarkable performance on parameters including fee income, net profit, operating profit per branch and per employee, return on average assets and equity, credit to deposit ratio, and capital adequacy ratio as well. The winner of the best bank among large bank segment is Bank Muscat. Congratulations to Bank Muscat. We'd also take a moment to congratulate all the winners today. A big round of applause to everyone. And I'd request the winners of the awards to please come up on stage for a group photo. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of Oman Banking and Finance Award powered by OER. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Atulya Sharma, Mr. Saeed Al-Ma'ashani for doing the honors. You may all take your seats. On behalf of OER, we thank United Securities for validating the results. And ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to take a short break. All of you are requested to kindly return back to the hall in 20 minutes as we have very interesting sessions lined up after the break. But before you leave for the break, we're excited to announce a new event under the United Media Services banner, the Alam Al-Iqtisad Dhufar Forum. The inaugural edition of the Alam Al-Iqtisad Dhufar Forum will highlight Dhufar's progression towards sustainable development, marked by the expansion of infrastructure and the growth of export-driven industries in accordance with Oman's Vision 2040. Industry frontrunners will present on Dhufar's growth trajectory and the emerging investment opportunities with a focus on sectors such as tourism, ports and logistics, energy, manufacturing, food, and export-centric industries. As well as part of UMS's CSR initiative, we're also going to be publishing the 2023 edition of Jawharat Oman, a chronicle of incredible Omanis with extraordinary achievements. The previous edition of Jawharat Oman, since its launch in 2010, featured over 250 such amazing Omani achievers. The publication will also feature companies that have gone beyond their business interests to pursue policies and programs aimed at building human talent, improving their skill sets, and empowering them to achieve greater heights of success. We're also proud to announce that after its success in Muscat and Sohar, Muntada Al-Mar'a will be hosting its Dhufar edition on the 21st of June 2023 at Salalah Rotana Resort. Muntada Al-Mar'a is an interactive forum for women to discuss various issues and challenges, reviewing their growth and achievements. The event has witnessed participation from notable corporate leaders, experts, and key women from the Omani community, sharing their ideas and visions about empowering women to excel in various fields. Let's just have a look at what lies in store at Muntada Al-Mar'a in Dhufar edition. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take the break now, and I hope we'll see you back here in just about 20 minutes. Thank you very much. VMware, VDC, Azure Cloud, IBM Power, Red Hat, KVM, and he's been involved in key projects such as Cisco collaboration, IBM middleware, EFT switch technology implementation, and Citrix virtualization. Now, veteran in the banking sector in Oman, he's also instrumental in the implementation of various banking applications, e-government systems, B2B, B2G, enterprise services bus, and e-business applications, and BPM. His topic of presentation is cloud transformation for banking. Please help me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Hassan Abdul Ali, the General Manager Business Development from Oman Data Park.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here today to share with you what is ODP is offering in the cloud transformation for the last 5 years, and particularly in 2023, hopefully. We're going to show you what is the groundbreaking technologies and service we are introducing within this year, inshallah. First comes first, what we're going to introduce in our slides is going to show you our new data center, which is Tier 3 Plus. It's a new data center that's going to serve the community. And then I'll take you to the cloud services and how we're doing 5 years TCO, helping banks, fintechs, and all type of organization, oil and gas, telecom, insurance, healthcare, and government to reduce the operating cost by transforming into the cloud. And we did this exercise for the almost 7 enterprises. I'll show you 2 use cases real, how we managed to reduce their cost between 50 to 70%. And as today, His Excellency was highlighting onboarding, eKYC, how ODP platforms for digital onboarding is available for you to consume it from day 1. And lastly, I'll take you to AI for banking particularly. Oman Data Park have 3 data centers right now live and running at the capacity of 3.3 megawatt, servicing 1,000 plus organizations, which is hosted in a form of colo and cloud. And cloud is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, cybersecurity, managed services, and also AI workload. Now, these 3 data centers almost coming to the, I can say, 95% utilization. Therefore, we opened 2 new data centers. One is already in the development phase, which is going to be ready by this year end. And another one is in FERQ, which is going to be hopefully 1.5 years from now. So total data centers in Oman is going to be 5, servicing colo and cloud. Now the total power of these 5 data centers is going to be 5.5 megawatts. That's going to serve the entire community. And hopefully also we're opening new data center in Zanzibar, inshallah, this year. The one who's interested to use ODP cloud services, we are very much focusing on the AI and consumption of the power. Therefore, we managed to reduce the PUE. The PUE is the power utilization effectiveness. The cost on the powers dramatically has been gone down. So ODP can offer you 3 kilowatt, 6 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt, 15 kilowatt, 20 kilowatt, and 40 kilowatt rack if it comes on demand, particularly for HPC and AI workload. So as I said, the most important factor here is to use the cost. And here we are also offering for our customers Tier 3 plus data centers in Oman. That will leverage the cloud transformation, hopefully. Now, what is 5 years TCO? What ODP is doing? This is a very important slide. I want your full attention, please. Now, ODP has experimented on 7 enterprises between government, telecom, oil and gas, and banking. We did this for the last 1 year. We dive into your existing infrastructure. Now, what are these infrastructure? If number 1 comes your data center facilities, generator, UPS, batteries, surveillance, cry units, AMF switches, and so many items to give the room to the infrastructure healthy, and that is non-stop power. And then we go to the second layer, which is your infrastructure. We dive in and try to understand your infrastructure setup, compute, storages, network, load balancer, firewall, GTM, LTM, so many components, which is you are capitalizing and operating as well. And then we dive to the layer 3, which is in platform, which is your licenses, Windows licenses, database licenses, all type of licenses which is required, or even bare metal virtualizations. And lastly, we go to the last layer, which is your application database, and not to mention the cybersecurity across all of these layers. And we experiment this from your numbers. Very important point. This is from your number, not from my assumptions. And we'll take your entire workload and put a real good equation behind to reduce your cost 50% and above. Now, some cases we have reached 80%, As a minimum, we reached 50%. So what ODP is offering here, 5 years TCO analysis and consultation. We build the design for your cloud transformation, and we build it, and then we manage the project. We offer all cybersecurity, and finally, we manage. You might pick one or two line item from this transformation, or you might assign it fully to ODP. Now, how are we doing it? As I said, there are 4 layers. Please focus on these 4 layers. What is the data center? As I said, all components which is capitalized and operating. You are forecasting this not from perspective of hypothetical numbers. No, it's a real number which is happening every day, touching your finance. It's touching your bill payments. And then from there, you can find some of these items is going to cost me, let's say data center is costing me an X amount. If I recall all this into ODP, we are guaranteed, and I'm committing this, we can reduce your cost 30% just relocating your data centers. And therefore, most of transformation happens in ODP cloud. It didn't go into one big bang into the cloud. It's been transformed into the colo, relocating their infrastructure, and over the time, they're moving into the cloud services. The second layer is the infrastructure, as I said, and third layer is platform, and last. You might be already, you have a co-location with ODP, how I can reduce the cost. We can also do this exercise, depend where you're locating. So this slide is the roadmap of the cloud transformation, and this is what ODP is doing. This is real number. This is true number. This is not my number. This is the customer's number. On the right, it was one big organizations. The total cost of next 5 years was almost 14 million riyal. And after we have done proper due diligence and exercise, deep dive, analyzing their environment, and I managed to reduce their cost. ODP managed to reduce their cost 53%. It's 7.9 million. The left one, it is almost 75%. The second one on the left was challenging me. It was long debate with them. Is this a correct number? I said, trust me, this is your number. And we said with them, guess what? They found they have been purchased infrastructure more than what they need. And this is an operating cost. They're not consuming even 30% of their infrastructure, and the rest are wasted. Imagine how that can help you. So what ODP is offering, we can do this due diligence and this exercise for you. By the way, we're not doing, as I said, only for banking. We're doing it for oil and gas, telecom, banking, even insurance is on the table, and that will cross all the society, hopefully. As I said, by relocating, it's a 30% and above. This is numbers from ODP, what's called customer informations, okay? This is not theoretical, this is our numbers. This is what customers' number is showing right now. If you relocate infrastructure, 35% and above. If you go platforms mean you're not buying perpetual license. You're not buying databases license. You're not buying Windows licenses. You're not buying VMware or virtualization license. You are only leasing. And third, last layer, which is mainly software service. And here I'm going to showcase today what SaaS ODP is offering. And here you just plug and use it immediately. Now, this is an important slide. If any iTech is here, we are offering all these stacks from VMware, Lagoon, Red Hat. It depends. You can pick and choose which cloud you are interested, and you can consume from ODP technology. Some of them are using VMware versus KVM. Some are using OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure versus VMware. And it's all open. We have Azure also. We have Oracle Cloud Infrastructure also. We have partnered with AWS and Outpost at this moment. The local zone is there, but it's very limited function, but Outpost is already there. So what is the value added from ODP? Today we have been talking about, Dr. Tahar was saying, OpenAI. This is the beauty of OpenAI. All these customers hosted within ODP, the interconnection between these ecosystem for AI is plug and play for ODP. I can leverage. And zero cost, by the way, as simple as this. It's a zero cost. If you interconnected with ODP cloud services, then that's just plug. I just open you the port, and you enjoy all the communication for API and ecosystem services across your application. Banks wants to communicate with insurance, most welcome. Banks with oil and gas, with the government, This ecosystem is growing over the time. Honestly, I do remember in 2019, it was 200. Now it's 1,000 customers. As simple as this. They can enjoy. And one of the benefits which has happened in the Shura, what's called voting, that time it was so easy. All the customers which has been using the application, mainly government and non-government, was on ODP platforms. So opening this connection services was a piece of cake. It's just open it through the firewall and that's it. So the transformation is happening here in the ecosystems, all moving to the cloud using the IaaS and PaaS and SaaS. So this is very important slide. If you want to leverage your interconnectivity and openness to the other partners and other players and other sectors, here we can go. Now, let me show what ODP is offering this year as a SaaS. His Excellency was saying eKYC. Now, eKYC needs two functions. When you need to onboard any customer, you need two functions: digital authentication and digital signature. Right now, anyone who's using just digital authentication, that's not full eKYC. You need a signature of the customer. Therefore, banks, what are telling the customer? Once you onboard it, please come to the branches and sign. Correct? This is what's happening. But with ODP platform, no. Immediately from the mobile, he's been onboarded. Immediately, a link is going to send him to the mobile, and he can sign it. So what we're offering one of the best product in the market. It's called Yukudu. They are already available with us. Our partner available with us today. If you want to have a chat with them, please most come on ODP stand, and they will be available for you. Second, this has been experimented during the first voting system of Al-Baladiyya. And now it's Majlis Shura, and the same is going to be used for 2 million. So the peak transaction is already experimented and never was in sleep. So the scalability of the product already experimented. Now, in the banks, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the more mobile banking has been coming, onboarding eKYC, the transaction processing is mandated. The stress is mandated. You have to run on TPS, transaction per seconds, and you have to at least cover the demand of the market. And ODP is offering that. We have elastic environment which can grow up and down based on the transaction. So eKYC is providing a lot of facilities from Yukudu. One of them is digital authentication, even is screening, AML, which we can take it on later in further sessions. As I said, eSign is already integrated with, by the way, both product integrated with Ministry of Technology and ROP, by the way, for your information. It's already certified. And you can use it. Some of the banks are already using eSign, but not digital authentication. But now they can comply and integrate and get the full benefits. As I said, that is the first milestone we have already delivered SaaS. What is the second? Thanks God. We've been working with Cisco, and we got approval from TRA, the Oman Regulation of Telecommunication, given a license to ODP to onboard SaaS, VoIP, and collaboration. So today, on your existing IP telephony in Java, you can consume these services from mobile. As simple as this. Even if you are across the universe, anywhere, in US, in UK, anywhere, you have an internet, same your extension, which is an Office extension, can always be with you as long as your mobile is, and internet is available. So these services is been up and running. Now we are offering it to the market, and very cost effective. It's reducing your operating cost, agile, and on demand. And by the way, this is the first milestone. What is the second milestone within this journey? Is we are offering also, we're building right now, to offer it in this year, hopefully, contact center as a service. Contact center as a service also is an omni-channel within the banking that can be used as well within ODP platforms. Now, as I said, this is coming soon as well, XDR as a service. I think today was a question, AI is making threat attack. Yeah, right. But I was expecting one answer, I couldn't find it in the panel. When you're using AI to attack, use the same AI to protect, correct? So ODP is offering XDR solution from Trend Micro. We have partnered with Trend Micro to give you NDR network detection response, EDR, endpoint detection response, DBR, database protection response, application detection response, all of these coming right now in ODP platforms and can be served as a SaaS. So you can get these benefits from your mobile device, your desktop, your network devices, your bare metal hardware devices, your storages, your platform layers, your virtualization, your application, your database, intelligently. We will kick immediately a message and alert you if any threat has been found within the transaction or during the day or peak time if any of the devices got into a threat situation, such as malware and antiviruses and hyper attacks. This is the way forward. Today, banks are moving from the infrastructure to microservices. What is the microservices? Microservices is breaking your monolithic application into small segments to interconnect among them and elastically. Let me give you an example. I have a core banking systems. Account opening, account closing, putting transaction of ATM, point of sale, all of these transactions, one big core banking systems. What if I manage to break this into small services? Because if I need to upgrade of my core, I have to let all of them into sleep. But the microservices, no. You just let that service out of order, upgrade it. And interconnection and elastic. I'm announcing now one of our biggest customers is a telecom using microservices, 3,000 plus containers, which is 3,000 application running on 15 VMs. Imagine, if I put this into a bank, that's almost seeking a 3,000 VMs, a huge cost. So this is a microservice, the way forward. When we do 5-6 TCO, we move you from your caller into a cloud, as is. The second process, we cleanse it. The third process, we put a plan for you to move you into microservices. And this is the future. This is the future, trust me, this is the future. And most of fintechs who's been running an ODP right now, so one of the banks, without mentioning the name, they were planning to position smart POS. And they reached ODP, and they were running on microservices. We managed to bring them in 1 week up. But that 1 week was just the due diligence to understand the scope. Once they are up, now they can transact from 50 to 50,000 tips transaction per second, elastically. Fine. Now, let's talk about AI. As I said, if you look to my slides in 2021 exactly, last year, or 2 years behind, sorry, we have introduced DGX A100, which is from NVIDIA. The power of this platform is 10 petaflops, which is 5 mainframes. It can serve the entire community. It can serve government, oil and gas, healthcare, banks. And so let's focus what is available from the bank. And who's next to this is the big player of the market. ChatGPT today has been talking a lot. It's running on NVIDIA platform, by the way, okay? So the same platform is available for you right now. Not to mention, no one have announced today, I was surprised, okay? The ChatGPT is running in the cloud, by the way. You can't put it on-prem. Am I right, correct? It's running on the cloud. Where is it running? Around where? Around somewhere in the US. But the same platform is running on a cloud and microservices for your information. With the GPU, graphical processing unit, TPU is tensor processing unit, DPU, data processing unit, APU, accelerating, all of these processes start breaking down to bring the speed and parallel processing for the big operations. So what we can offer for the banks? Please enjoy from this. This is not from my story. This is from the live banks using. Fraud detection and prevention, customer services and chatbot, credit scoring, risk assessment, antivirus, and all of it. If you look to the function of AI, I can break into about 5. Cognitive systems, machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, natural language processing. Can I use these 5 functions in a way to tolerate based on my requirement? Yes, you can. And here, what we're offering, for example, I have a contact center who's responding to me, IVR. Fine, but it is static. If I ask him any questions, and by the way, IVR just passing a message. If you talk to IVR, it will not respond to you. Can I replace it with natural language processing? Yes, you can. You can. You ask the computer and respond to you directly. So this is already available in Oman. Already. Just bring your data and leverage from ODP platform. What I am saying, all of being said, is already available and live running. So my most important factor is here, each bank have a surveillance. Let's say each bank have a surveillance data. What are you doing with your surveillance data? It's being recorded. Can I generate information of my surveillance? Definitely yes. I can, for example, generate how many customers in and out of a day in each branch. I can generate where is the threat is happening within my ATM off-site or on-site. I can generate information also of my data center who's visiting in and out. All of these surveillance have been recorded. So same, I can use it to generate some kind of patterns and threats which has been attacking my environment. Let's say a fraud happens on one of my ATMs. The pattern of the fraud, with using AI and computer vision, it can be alerted immediately. It's not going to take an hours for you to find where is the problem and react. No, it can be instantly, immediately. Well, I'm coming to the last. I've been so fast, okay? There's so many to talk in the cloud, honestly speaking. Generally, it's an ecosystem growing day by day. You like it or not, it's happening. The transition to the cloud happening. Now you've been licensing in the past of Microsoft, let's say, Office. They're coming Office 365. Over the time, everything is slowly moving into cloud. You can license on-prem, but the cost is going to be double and triple. So what we are offering here today as an ODP, we are offering you all services from the colo, infrastructure, platform, software, managed services, bespoke solution. Enjoy from the ecosystem which is transforming into the cloud. And I've been, honestly speaking, I'm not only visiting and we are working with banking, but we work for all the sectors. And all of them is being transforming now, slowly, slowly. What I said, I hope that was informative. And should you have any question, please, I'm available during the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hassan, for that incisive presentation. Our next presenter is Mr. Joy Paul, the Regional Leader of Analytics, AI, Risk, and ESG at GBM. Now, Mr. Paul is the leader of Advanced Analytics at GBM. He's responsible for the execution and strategy of IBM Artificial Intelligence, optimization, and analytics solution across GBM territory, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and Oman. And he's been helping organizations across India and the GCC region leverage analytics for over 18 years. The topic of his presentation is sustainable finance, an imperative on value creation for organizations and their stakeholders. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Joy Paul to the stage.
Interesting day. Praise God. Okay. So, change of topic from data park to sustainable finance. Hope for the next 20 minutes, I want to kind of share something. This is like liquid gold, which can become a very, very big imperative in terms of value creation. And I use the word stakeholder, not shareholder. Predominantly, we have been on shareholders, but we're seeing it is going further from there and looking at the whole value chain. That is the customers, the employees, the partners, suppliers, and the planet at large, actually. Okay, so that's the thing. Hopefully, you'll find this interesting and inspiring. And I'm available to have a conversation with. And so I think this is taken for granted. Sustainability is a global trend. Regulations are coming and are coming at faster speed. IFRS is the standard at which we are actually kind of doing our reporting right now today, but IFRS is coming with S1 and S2. So it's due in the next, in month of June, in fact, that's specifically on sustainability. If you look at stock exchanges, 77 countries across the world, 3 in the Middle East, have signed up for it. Oman soon, we believe, but UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain has actually kind of gone across for a net zero 2050. Investor ratings, if you kind of look into it, this is coming in EU, if you're a company, more than 250 number of people, or a 40 billion euro, or a 10 billion euro in terms of S, you need to report. This is a mandate. If you're doing business with that in 2025, that should actually kind of come. So I think this is more importantly in terms of investors. So the young generation is very, very key in terms of if you are not a sustainable company, they would not like to do business with you. They would not like to kind of buy products from you. So it's all actually kind of coming. I think that's it. Even in the regional initiative, in fact, the first talk that we had today from the CBO, he mentioned two of the things actually kind of coming, Oman coming up with a sustainable finance framework, and also in terms of coming with the social inclusion principles, specifically for BFSI. So how do we measure this? The way we measure this is E, S, and G. Now, E, I believe you're very, very familiar with. We know it is in terms of how much is the energy efficiency, how much is the waste management, how effectively I'm doing reuse, recycle. Oh, that particular part, I believe we are in a good touch with. S, okay, it kind of gets a bit flaky here from here onwards. So it's basically in terms of inclusion. Again, the Central Bank of Oman, the representative, was actually kind of mentioning about, His Excellency kind of mentioning about having a branch being opened, fully managed by people of inclusion. So things like that. Data security, again, Oman Data Park being actually kind of mentioned. These are all very key things, ensuring your privacy. That's the S part. And the G part is the governance. Ensuring that you as an organization, as an honest organization, corrupt-free, in going across. So this is the way it is being done. So that's the yardstick on which sustainability is actually being measured today. Now here is a problem. And the good part is this. In terms of sustainable finance, if you kind of look into that, there is this opportunity where you're saying if you can show the performance targets, sustainable performance targets, then you can link that to kind of availing the sustainability linked loans or assets if you're investing into it. And what we're saying is in terms of it's good for both the borrower and the lender. For the borrower point of view, it's incentivizing the unsustainability performance. It is actually kind of going across in terms of increased access to capital. It's key. So if you do not do that, your cost is going to increase, in fact, which means that if you align it, your cost of acquiring that particular capital goes down. Same case with the lender. Wherein it is a better management of risk because you're bringing, end of the day, much more value. And also in reporting it to the banking authorities like Central Bank or any capital market authority from a demonstrable sustainability-related commitments. Now, what we're really saying out here is that this is the core of sustainable finance, wherein we can enhance both the borrower and the lender, their reputation, in achieving a long-term sustainability. Now, look at this particular thing. We always, when you start a business, there is a general acumen that you don't make money in the next month or next day or next months. You're okay to kind of say, we'll span that actually for 3 months, 8 months, 1 year, 2 years. This is mandated when you make a business plan. There is a greater impetus saying that let's do it sustainably, and I will not make that particular money in the 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. But eventually, when I make it, the scale at which you make is much, much more. And that's the key that you're saying, that whatever you're actually kind of putting as capital access projects needs to be kind of have a sustainability in its key thing. Now, here is another problem which is here in this particular thing. If you look into it, we did a study actually of the market. This study is available actually at the GBM booth. And one of the questions in terms of United Nations did a good thing. They said, if you want to kind of make all of you listen, we all understand one for sure. We all understand the money part. So control where the money is, and the companies will start listening. So United Nations actually kind of went ahead and said, these are the principle for responsible investment, principle for responsible banking. And they took the bankers as the owners and saying, you ensure that whenever you kind of give an asset-based loan, you ensure that you adhere to this. Now, when we did the survey, almost it's a good percentage of almost 80% are aware of it, which is a good news. Being aware is not necessarily equal to adoption, but that's a good news that people are aware of the PRI. Now, United Nations went from PRI to another level altogether. Now, this is interesting. Now, from here, things gets interesting. They actually kind of went across and said, okay, now let's put this into real action. And go to the bank and says, Mr. Banker, I will not issue a loan if it is not sustainability linked. And they put a target. So it said Net Zero Banking Alliance. And it started in 2021. Interestingly, It's around 41 countries, 131 banks. Any guess how many banks in the region? Middle East? Give me a number, and if it is very close, we can actually. Just one. How many in the Middle East and Africa out of the 131 banks? Just 4. But here's the point. Everything starts with a tipping point. And the kind of businesses these 5 banks have done, 4 banks put together, have done is astronomical. HSBC has come down and made a point. We will not fund a fossil-related, that means oil and gas, any oil and gas capital. If it is oil and gas, we will not fund it. HSBC has gone across and done it. And things are creeping up very, very fast. So you have to have a carbon capture to offset what you've done. This is coming. Now, this is coming. There is a focus actually on the E side of it. Now, hang on to that particular thought. We talked about the... Now, this one is an umbrella of a bigger alliance of around 7 different ones. So you've got net zero insurance. You've got net zero asset owners. This alone is actually kind of taking. And right now, with just this 131 banks, they operate around 41% of global assets. Now, if you kind of look into it, some of these banks still give to fossil fuel businesses. But you got a time window. You got a time window to kind of adhere to it. But it's coming. It's coming. It's just a matter of time. Now, if you kind of take that particular step forward, and then they kind of loop into and saying, okay, fine, how do I do this? Now, this is where it gets interesting. You need to kind of maintain a register, like a green register, which is different from a typical, like the way you have a trading book and a bank book. You maintain that different. That's where I will say this is the corpus of fund that I need. And I would actually link that to this much amount of savings or emissions reductions I will actually kind of do. And you need to track this particular one. So you've got ICMA, which has come down with the green bond principles. Now you'll see in this particular one, the renewable energy. You see that there is a whole point towards E side of it, which is the environment side of it. Clean transportation. So all these projects that you're doing, make that across into a green fund. There is also a social aspect. Now, this is where I want to kind of spend probably the next 5 to 6 minutes on 2 major aspects, which has not really been spent on. And I hope this will be actually a thinking tune. Majority of the projects is actually falling under, even in the green, the top one. You will hear projects like renewable energy. You will hear sustainable water to an extent. Energy efficiency, green building. Do you hear in terms of this particular project, we have got an initiative which actually kind of looks at the biodiversity of Oman, which is turtle, and this is a turtle season, by the way. Are we aware in terms of, have you seen a turtle in real life in the recent past for our children to kind of go? You see what I'm trying to get across to you? This is so important in the world that we live. The biodiversity is actually, or the commitment for us to kind of look into and conserve, that has not been the focus. And we can think about green is actually kind of making the top layer right, but in the core of it, it's like saying, okay, I'm doing bad, so I will actually kind of do something to kind of get that. But my habits have not changed. Are you with me? My habits have not changed, and that's a social part of it. I want to give you a small example. If that's the case, very, very less bonds, projects are there in that particular segment, which is so crucial. So, for example, it's a three-legged stool. You've got one leg this big. The other 2 legs are so Pygmalion, you know, the S part, social part, and the governance. So I've got 2 talking points for you. And the talking points is this. I don't know if you know this or not. Net zero doesn't mean zero. So, let me give you an example. So imagine if I'm doing, right now the carbon is actually around, just a fictitious example, 330 parts per million. That's what the carbon is out here. And we're saying net zero by 2050. Give me a show of hands. By 2050, it will be a number less than 300. Can I have a show of hands? Yeah? The beauty is, net zero means by 2050. So right now we are 330. By 2050, the net zero means we will be actually at 380. Excuse me? That is what net zero is. So They're coming from saying that right now I am actually at 120 kilos, say for example. If I do consume this way, I will be at 200 kilos by 2050. At least get from 120, be at 150, so that I can move. That itself is a good thing, and that they positioned, gave a good word called net zero. Net zero is the bare minimum to kind of survive. And reality should be in terms of net positive. Why do we think in this particular mentality saying that we will just give what we took and just manage it? Shouldn't we actually kind of give more than what we took? And that's the story that we want to kind of think about. Think about in terms of the projects that we need to kind of, when you look at sustainable finance, do not just greenwash it with e-projects, but look at in terms of social initiatives so that we can make social bonds, governance initiative and come across. So first talking point is in terms of, if you look at the kind of projects that we talk about, okay, what are you doing to do it? And the projects will say, well, right now I've done my measure, that's my emission, and that's my business growth, so that's my extra emission that I'll come. I've got the delta, how do I bring it? So a couple of things in terms of I'll do an operational efficiency. Oman Data Park, one of the beautiful example. You say, bring that particular thing on the data center cloud, we will actually reduce by 50%, okay? Number two, an equipment upgrade so that it was an old one, or actually in terms of renewables. So instead of the power, it actually kind of looks into, look at this whole aspect. Scope 3, upstream and downstream. It's all E. Where have we talked about our habits being changed? We're taking a step across and looking at our planet and the people. These are all the projects that has been done. These are the ones that has been funded. And offsets, that's another cancer actually. The focus is so much on E, actually. That's my first talking point. Now, show of hands. Do you believe that we eat plastic? Give me an example, a show of hands. And when you say plastic, I meant microplastics. You know how much plastic that we eat? Give me a vague figure. Anybody? Anybody has done this study? It's around 5 grams per week. Another study shows that we eat around 54,000 particles in a year. You know what that means? You eat a credit card every week. We eat a credit card every week. My point out here is this: we are not talking about this. As long as our carbon goes down, we go along. Say that again. This is so crucial that we need to really think about social. So the point we're trying to get across is that we need to kind of get emphasis on S. What we're saying actually is that as an organization, as GBM, we're saying, look, our weekend is over. In the weekend, get involved with whatever actually kind of motivates you, and the company incentivizes. We can actually bracket this as an activity, and there are a company who's ready to finance that. Are you with me? So something that you actually kind of give back to the society, you can package that. For example, company can start saying, we are going to do a turtle preservation. We are going to make awareness programs, go across so that next time when you kind of go to the beach, we will not litter it. Or when you find a litter, we will pick it up. We will be agents for that. This is just a tip of the example. But I'm just saying, we do not even know what are the health hazards for this. So the 5-step process, right from awareness to adoption, we actually kind of go forward. And what we're doing out here in GBM is that we have created a social impact model where we are able to measure, ability to measure that impact, contain it, and make it actually that you can now trade with the bank and say, I've got the saving we are doing, we have done this awareness, there's a measurement where you can actually, so it's just like the way I've said, I've saved so much amount of electricity, so much amount of fuel, I can actually say I've made so much amount of contribution socially. I hope you got the message. Point number 2, that's on the, this is, if you, most of you might have actually kind of linked. He did 2 weeks before a session actually, and it's on the governance. Last 4 billion years, we always had organic human forms. But now we are in the threshold, we are almost on the threshold of we can actually kind of have a inorganic form. I don't know, it's like could be or at least an inorganic agent in form of a big algorithm sits across and decides what movie you should watch. In Netflix, when you actually you think you decide what you want to watch, you've been served, you eat it, we consume it. Do you think that the time that you actually you're spending on the mobile is something that you wanted it? You've been served and we have no option but because we have become an addict. Now we're saying there is a small problem till now to the purse which is actually going. And here is the point. Now, if you look into it, this, he says this particular story that this is a 10 Omani Riyal. This Omani Riyal is just a piece of paper. And he says, but this is not a piece of paper because you told a story. No, this is not a piece of paper. This is 10 Omani Riyal. And the banker said, yes, this is a story. It's a 10 Omani Riyal. And then we started everybody saying the same story. And then we believed the story. And now this become a reality. In reality, if the person who does not know the value of this, it is still a piece of paper. This has been our story wherein we tell stories, words make up. In fact, language has been our mantra or the operating system of our civilization because we used words, the language, to communicate, to build systems of trust, everything across. Today, we have got AI taking over that language. You know what it is doing? Now the AI has got a story it can tell, which is not necessarily just to be right. Which means that it knows your emotions, it knows your weaknesses, it knows your proclivities. And it will tell you a story. You are made to know that this way you are emotionally will become attached to it. And that is a dangerous thing. And it says till now, we are actually at the attention. AI was actually made to attention, and we have become good slaves to social media. Life is good. Now it is going to another level, ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT for the right usage, but if you do not use, and I just picked up this particular one, Digital Transformation 23 from OER. There's a beautiful article here, and it says actually by Tesla chief, and it says, this could be the destruction of civilization. And it says, Elon Musk warned in the new interview, the artificial intelligence could lead to civilization destruction. Because right now, they are having mastery over that language, large language models, beyond we could actually had mastery over. Which means that it creates a mass intimacy, not necessarily on the right one. If you do not use it right, you will actually do it across. So here is what we're saying. We have got the profit, which has been. Now we're telling it needs to be on a profit and the people. So the triple line accounting says profit, people, and planet. So we have got profit and people that is equitable to the people. The solutions of people and planet, that is you're responsible. And then you got viable. So this is the first level. This is one thing that we need to do, not just the E part of it, but the S and G part of it. So as you actually got a sustainable impact, but then it is important that you tie that actually to the purpose, your values. In fact, 2 people today in the morning session talked about the purpose. In terms of, it's not just doing, but what your values are. What you will use AI for. Very important to get that and tie that actually into what we call it as the quadruple line of reporting. Not just from a very traditional balance sheet, which was just profit, single line of reporting, to a triple line reporting, but it has to be rooted on a purpose. And you have to define what your values are actually. So, again, closing down to net zero to net positive. This has to be our warden. And there are brave CEOs, companies who are actually taking this particular step, wherein they're saying, look, this might be a challenge, but this is a business model we want to be. If we do it right and we strive it harder, there is finance available. And we can show that in a span of time, if we do that particular curvature, we will be in a much better shape to the world that we live around, and people will respond to that. And the sustainable finance and the finance is available, and we are all invited to call. Where GBM actually adds value to us, we have got this platform, speak to us. It's called the Istadama, the ESG and Sustainable Finance Framework. It has got all that needs to, right from the strategy all the way to assurance. And it does all these activities. I've got the timer actually. I wish I could spend some more time. But these are things that we actually kind of give you either as a consultancy or as a tool-based approach. You look it out here, we ensure that and maintain a green register for green bonds so that you can utilize it. But not only in green bonds, but also on social bonds. Showcase social impact for social bonds. We've got models for sustainable procurement, where you can actually show the value for this. And hence you're doing a quadruple line of reporting. And that's what we want to kind of get across to you. Think it's a very, very big imperative. Talk to us if you want to kind of how we can actually together work with you. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Paul, for that insightful presentation. Next up, we have Mohammed Al-Fujairi, CEO of Okudu. He will be presenting about AKYC and his association with ODP.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. And so today I'm going to talk about overall about identity and some of the challenges that we're seeing on the identity space. And if we want to talk about identity, I think the first thing is we need to identify what is identity and how do we see identity. And I think it's good now? Yes. All right, excellent, thank you. And I think if you ask any two people what is identity and what does it mean, you will get different answers. And the reason for that, even within, let's take it from a banking perspective, the way that we look at individuals, businesses, or even anything, that you look at it from a different perspective, and the expectation and the way that you verify that person, legal entity, or a thing, it will vary as you are either communicating or transacting with it. And this is causing as well, in a way, a huge cost to a lot of organizations. And in bringing back to the banking sector, what we're seeing is from an OpEx cost, 30% is actually related to document processing. And out of that 30% cost, 70% of these documents we're seeing are around to do with identity or document that you need to link to verify either a person or an attribute linked to that person. And it is a huge cost if you look at it from within the organizations when it comes to not only direct costs, but indirect cost from loss of productivity, time, and few others. So I'm going to just touch on the identity layer. And to touch on the identity layer, one of the things that we need to look at, who is within the bank is responsible for the journey, for the user journey. And let's look at it from a consumer perspective or from a customer perspective. Today, the challenge that we're seeing is there is no one person within the organization, especially within the bank, who can actually say, I own that journey end to end. And when we say that journey on end to end, we have the digital onboarding, and we broke it down here into different steps. You need to onboard. Once you onboard, you need to verify. Once you verified, you also need to authenticate. And every time you're dealing with the customer, you need to re-authenticate. Part of that journey and the product you're offering, you need to enrich that data and enrich the relationship with the customer. And the customer then need to consume or to facilitate. And in one instance, for example, what we've seen that onboarding, it's within the business, the chief business officer responsible for that part of the journey. He is the accountable party. You go to the verification, you go to a complete different part of the business, which is within risk. And when it comes to the authentication, the single sign-on, the strong authentication, OTP, or biometric authentication, you're moving straight to the CISO, who has to deal with and address these challenges. And then you have all of that data that you keep collecting, and you need to be able to present, which move to another part of the business. You start talking to the CIO, and it's a product that will be managed and purchased by the CIO. And once you start the facilitation, which you go to the operation and managing that end to end. So you end up having different owners responsible of different parts of that journey, and there is no an overall ownership. And this is where we need to look at a missing function, and a missing function which around the Chief Digital Identity Officer. Chief Digital Identity Officer working with the different stakeholders, but the core purpose of that part of the organization is to make sure that we are consumer focused. We're looking at what do we need to do to serve that customer, how can we remove friction, how can we be able to provide the services that we need across the different channels, across the different products that we're serving across the different jurisdictions. So we can refer to this as a number of things, whether we're talking about KYC, the Know Your Customer, the KYB, which is Know Your Business, the screening, the AML, the sanctions, transaction monitoring, authentication, biometric. All of those are, you usually go to different products, to different solutions, different ownership, as I mentioned earlier, but there is a move within the industry towards how we can actually look at it as a complete and a collaborative effort between the different solutions that you have, but also within the organization itself, and especially when we're moving to mobile and moving to the mobile journey, which is one of the channels and becoming the more used channel, then you need to make sure that you are able to do that. Let's start with the digital onboarding. And we talked about a lot today about digital onboarding and the ability to verify the person. And first of all, we need to verify the authenticity of the documents and the information being provided. The second is we need to make sure that the person that provided the document is the person who owned that data. So we are completing the journey. So then we are able to instantly onboard and instantly serve that individual and expand the product and services that we will be able to provide to him, which give us the ability to have that one account, one data store that contain all of the information that being captured, and make sure that data is captured once and it's not being asked again from that customer. And also, once you be able to do that, it will also help to address some of the challenges around personal identifiable information, and be able to distinguish between your PII data and your other data that can you use into your data analytics, and be able to understand the behavior of your customer without having the impact of not be getting into exposing the customer information and getting into data privacy issues and challenges. So if we look again into the process, the onboarding, the verify, authenticate, enrich, and facilitate, I will touch just briefly on two. I'll start with the onboarding and then the authentication. And the reason I touch on those two, because then the question we have is, when does onboarding finish, and when does authentication ends? That start to be blurred between the two, and between the different levels of identity products or services that you acquire for your customer. And especially with bring of the biometric into that journey, where the biometric can be used part of the onboarding, and today we go beyond face, where you look at the fingerprint and also the voice, and this can be captured and verified within the mobile app. But also at the same time, within that orchestration layer, I'm also able to validate the document that has been presented or the information, let's say, that has been presented, and how also there's a big move we're seeing towards having digital information. So when we say that digital ID very soon, it's not going to be a physical document. It's going to be a digital document in a wallet, and that wallet might be a wallet, an identity wallet, or it can be a data come from a third party through open APIs that able to enrich the data that we're having. And that can be linked to the authentication, where a lot of the information that you capture, a lot of the attributes that we have around your biometrics, your information that being provided, even talk about behavior biometric, all of that makes it fuzzy. Where does one part of that journey start or once finish, and when the other part starts? And this is where we look at it as a comprehensive, as an end-to-end solution, as an end-to-end journey, a customer journey, more than a different siloed approaches, and having an overall ownership and overall a different vision of how do we actually serving our customers and being customer-centric. Oops, I go back. Which means that we need to look at, it's a continuous journey from secure onboarding, the adaptive authentication and verification, go into the fraud analysis, which is going to feed into the intelligent self-service, moving into compliance and regulation, and we keep going through the circle, which means that we're moving from being product-centric into customer-centric, and as we capture data, as we process data, we're able to enhance the journey, enhance the services that being provided, and serving the customer through the journey from a lead. How you look at all the touch point that the consumer is having with the organization, and also and it also enable us to go into with the integration with open banking, with open finance, but also with the either the bank becoming a super app or becoming a complete API. You need to always to verify and authenticate any transaction between two entities. There is a sender and a receiver, and there is a trust that need to be built. That trust that we're building is where we're talking about where we're touching part of that identity. So I'm just going to end with this, but also, as I mentioned earlier, being consumer-centric, looking at the openness of a platform. You cannot have open banking, you cannot have open journeys without having a solid and a robust identity platform, an identity layer. And I think we need to move our conversation into that identity layer that's serving the bank or serving our organizations to enable us to be future-proof. So thank you, and appreciate your time.
It's not nice when you're short. Keep on having to put these mics down. All right, thank you very much, Mohammed, for that presentation. This brings us to our next presentation of the day, and I've been waiting for this speaker to come up on stage. So the speaker is Mr. Sadiq Al-Lawati, Head of Digital E-Sales Payment from Bank Nizwa. He's a seasoned professional with over 20 years of experience in banking, digitization, and e-channels, and he's been instrumental in driving digital transformation, innovation, and fintech in the business domain. His notable achievements include the introduction of mobile application for Bank Nizwa, which won the prestigious Excellence in Technology Awards at COMEX 2023. Big round of applause for that, guys. And Mr. Al-Lawati holds a master's degree in business administration from the University of Hull in the UK and continues to play a key role in the evolution of digital transformation. He'll be speaking to us about collaboration of fintechs with banks. A big round of applause for Sadiq, please.
Well, we're in exciting times, especially for the banking sector. Things have changed quite a bit. I'm a second-generation banker, before me, my father had started working in the 70s. He's Baqir Taqi, just in case anybody is curious. So he started working in the 70s, and the stories that I have heard from him about how they used to do things, it was all manual. They would have big, giant books of ledgers of all the accounts of the GLs that we speak of right now and write everything down manual. Somebody would come into the branch wanting to know his balance. They would ask him for his account number. He would say, yeah, 345 is my account number. He would open that book and go through it, and yeah, balance is 5 riyals. Have a good day, sir. Now it's mobile banking, and you can check your balance immediately. But back then, things were different. Working ethics were different. The environment was different. There was a thing called loyalty. He stayed in one bank for, 39 years. You say that to one person now, to the millennials, and they'll laugh in your face. Whoever pays me more, I'll move to that bank. That's the attitude that goes. I started working in the early 2000s, and back then, tasks, processes, and things were generally getting to the automation. Better than what it was in 70s and 80s, and definitely not what it is right now. For when I started working in the 2000s, the internet banking in Oman was the thing. Customers could log in, username and password, they could check their balances, they could put nicknames to their accounts, savings account 1, savings account 2, current account, and whatnot. You can transfer funds between your own accounts, and you can even pay bills. Paying bills was a funny business in the sense, the customer would pay, the next day I would have to go in, print a report from the system, make sure everything is tallied with the system and the account has the money and all that, and then actually fax that report to the service provider. I'm sure Suhaila and Khaldun back then remember those beautiful days of the early 2000s. Registration process back then was even different. A customer would actually have to go to the branch, fill out a 3-pager form, listing his first, second option, and third option of his username to actually get registered. And then that form would get us mailed, and then we would have to go in the back office and fill it out. Now we have AI, we have machine learning, we have check if you're not a robot, and you have other things, and things have really changed. And the industry that really uses these technologies properly are the fintechs. They really utilize the machine learning, they really utilize the AIs. Robotics, they utilize it properly, at least better than the banks. And I, in a way, envy them. And this gets me to my presentation as to the fintech, the collaboration of fintech and the banks. Should we collaborate with each other? Should we not collaborate with each other? I will go through it, the pros and cons and what's there. Okay. So before we even dive into this, fintech is short for financial technology. Very straightforward, very clear, I loved it. That's why I'm putting it up there. But a lot of people think that fintech is a company that provides a service to the bank. All banks need to run on a core banking system. They need to have a middleware. They need to have a cloud processing platform. But those are not fintech companies. They just provide services to the banks. So fintech is a company, technology company, that actually can enhance, change, beautify financial service for any business or people. So they actually solve real-world problems using financial industry, financial technology. So they focus on lending, micro-lending, investments, payments in Oman. A lot of them focus on payments. And they also focus on experience. We'll see a little more about this later on. The collaboration has a lot of benefits, especially in Oman. First of all, what I consider a good thing that central bank has done is has told all the financial technologies or the fintechs that they need to tie up with a bank for the minimum requirement of collecting cash. They've put in the process of PSPs, for example, for the payments. That's a good thing as well. But they have made sure that they tie up with the bank for other reasons, which I'll get to it. But the fintechs really help the banks in reducing costs, getting to wider range of audience, be it high net worth individuals, the blue collars that not all banks cater to. Okay, they definitely provide a better customer experience. I haven't come across any fintech application or a website that's not easy to use or nice to look at. They all have good user experience. It's much more cost effective to deal with, for example, the fintech to reach out to the minorities of the community than the bank actually having to go. Banks have overhead that fintechs don't. And obviously, there's innovation and competitiveness involved. And my favorite of all is the additional revenue for the bank that they can generate by using banking as a service. Banking as a service is extending your financial services to a fintech so they can use it on behalf of you and extend it to the community, solve another problem that you can't solve on your own. For example, I mean, we are talking to a fintech right now that we are offering international payments and wallet services to them so they can go out and offer it to a wider range of customers than we can ever get to. So there are a number of ways that a bank can tie up with fintech. They can invest in it, they can fund them, which ideally they would like the funding. But here in Oman, the most common is that the bank tends to just hold their collection account, provide them the accounting services, and that's about it. But a more important and critical type of partnership is the strategic and the investment, that you tie up with a fintech, you invest in it, and provide a strategic direction to the fintech. Fintechs normally are driven by young guys and young driven guys. So a little mentorship, a little direction wouldn't hurt them. There are, of course, challenges to work with a fintech. Like I said, fintechs are normally run by young guys and banks are huge and small. So, for example, the decision-making in a bank takes much longer than it would take in a fintech. Fintech can turn around and give you a decision within a few hours, if not the same time. Integrating the fintech into banks' technology systems is a nightmare for them, because, okay, I wouldn't say all banks, but most banks have legacy systems, systems that are not compatible. You're trying to put an HDMI cable into an audio-video out TV, so that wouldn't work. So banks need to update their systems, their platforms, their infrastructure to accommodate the fintechs. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, why central bank is playing a vital role over here is to make sure of the regulatory requirements, the data privacy and security is all taken care of when they integrate or they tie up with the bank. Bank knows the requirements of central bank, but it's time consuming, it's complex, and they need some guidance, and that guidance can always be provided by the bank. Obviously, the future in Oman is, I see it, is really good for the fintechs. They have just started up in a year, 2 years ago. There's still a long ways to go, but Omantel and Central Bank of Oman are doing a fantastic thing in terms of incubating these fintechs, providing them the space to grow, and providing them the funding that they need. So, for example, Central Bank of Oman has the fintech fintech FRS, fintech regulatory sandbox, that they put through the fintech for 6 months. They need to test transactions, they need to test the different scenarios for 6 months in real world scenarios. And Omantel, on the other hand, has an incubation lab that takes care of these fintechs and actually puts them through their paces. So by the time they are done with Omantel's incubation and lab and they go through the sandbox, they are already a fintech that will solve the world's problem, I hope so. To collaborate or not to collaborate, I leave it up to the banks, but I know I'm going to collaborate with the fintechs. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadiq, for that informative presentation. The next presentation for the day will be Mr. Mohammed Al-Rafai, System Engineer at Cisco. He's a system engineer based in Oman with over 5 years of professional experience working in the field with customers across different industries in the UAE and Oman market. His expertise lie in enabling customers to achieve digital transformation by leveraging Cisco's comprehensive portfolio and thereby bridging their business objectives with Cisco solutions. He'll be speaking to us about transforming and securing your banking infrastructure. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Mohammed to the stage.
And great sessions. My name is Mohammed Rafai, and I'm a system engineer based in Oman, and I work closely with the account team and with our customers to help them bridge their business gaps with our comprehensive security solutions. So as we're all aware, when it comes to banking and when it comes to technology in general, we are living at times where there's unparalleled change, specifically in fintech and financial services institutions. Systems or legacy systems that took hours and days and months to develop can now be replaced in days with our new technological solutions. Quick snapshot about Cisco. We have a global presence around 100 countries, and we have around 369 offices that are located globally. We drive up to 51.6 billion revenue as of the past year. And we are one of the global leaders when it comes to we empower the internet, and our solution consists of enterprise networking, collaboration, IoT, video analytics, and software services. When it comes to our presence in the Oman market, we have an office here that has been running for over 10 years, and we have more than 12 employees that are working in the field with our customers and partners to help them address their business gaps with our comprehensive portfolio. So that was a quick snapshot of our presence in the market, both globally and locally. Now, when it comes to the financial services institutions, because we have such a great presence in the market and we have great exposure in the financial services institutions, we have worked with over 176,000 financial institutions spanning across 218 countries and territories worldwide. So obviously we have seen what the customer's priorities are, specifically in that industry. We have seen how, with the evolution of technology, how Cisco can help our customers in this industry to help them be prepared for this evolution. Specifically when it comes to, for example, the adoption of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other technologies in the market as well. So we went out and we got analysts and researchers to analyze what's happening in the market today. Of course, as we're all aware, after the pandemic, things have changed. Also in the banking industry and in financial institutions, things have changed. our behavior has changed as end users as well. We are more relying on the applications, on our personal mobile banking applications to carry on with our transactions. It's no longer required for me as an end user, for example, to go to the bank to carry out a simple transaction. If I have another alternative where I can carry it out in a simple click from my phone or from my mobile banking website. So based on the analysis that we have done and the external research that we have gathered over the past few years, we have found out that 80% of the financial services institution respondents have responded and saying that they are expecting expenses to increase by over 80%, specifically in tech investments. And this is obviously due to the fact that we are seeing a gap, and that was discovered even in the pandemic. There was a gap where we need to enable our employees to work hybridly. We need to empower our current applications in the banking sector. We need to be digitally ready to adapt to artificial intelligence and machine learning, embedding it into our core applications in the banking sector. Secondly, when it comes to security, specifically in the financial services, it's very sensitive and it's very critical to make sure that we have a secure environment. As part of the analysis, the total cost, the average total cost of data breach in 2021, as per 100, which was conducted over 100 million clients, the average total cost was around 5.7 million for just data breach. Now, not only is this a huge number, but even if that is not a huge number, the reputation is on the line as well. So specifically when it comes to banking, as soon as we hear news that our data has been compromised, sensitive information has been leaked, this obviously puts our reputation on the line from financial services institution. And of course, loyalty for our customers is going to change, and we might see our end users move to a more innovative and competitive financial services institution. Therefore, security is critical to ensure that we are secured from all areas in the network. Third, we have found that also 82% of the financial services institutions are migrating their workloads, they are migrating their applications from on-premise data centers to either local cloud service providers or over the public cloud. And this is obviously due to the fact where we need to remove some of the burden from management. We need to roll up, for example, new applications, and we don't have the resources in-house. Therefore, we need to leverage either the local cloud service providers in that case, or we leverage the global cloud service providers, like the likes of Amazon, AWS, and so on. Lastly, we have seen tremendous amount of change in the way our banking transactions happen over the past few years. And this has been noticed through the global banking apps that we are seeing. And we're seeing a lot of financial services institutions putting a lot of their investments into enhancing their applications in the mobile banking. Because there's so much, and because there's a lot of competition between the financial services institution when it comes to mobile banking, we're seeing even our behavior as end users. For example, myself, I like to carry out my transactions from the phone easily without going to the branch or without going to the headquarters to carry out a simple transaction. Therefore, a lot of the financial services institutions are expecting to put a lot of their investments in enhancing their application and enhancing the user experience for the end users. So based on those outcomes and based on those analysts, we have at Cisco, we analyzed all of these responses, and because of our large customer base as well, and we classified them into 4 priorities that we need to focus on. And that's exactly what we do with our customers to help them address these 4 priorities that we're seeing in front of us. The first one is to reimagine their applications. Secondly is power hybrid work. And we're going to go in details into each of these points in just a moment. Third is transform their infrastructure. And lastly, and certainly not least, is drive security resilience. Now, what do we mean by each of those points? The first one is the reimagine the applications. Now, we talked about how important applications are in the banking sector and in financial services, and even with the fintech companies that we're seeing, and even with the in-house fintech, with the banks that we're seeing as well. So we're seeing that a lot of our customers interact with their mobile banking on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, to carry out their simple transactions. Therefore, we need to make sure that our applications are ready for this evolution. We also need to make sure that when it comes to our interactions with our customers, it's not only a single point, but as an end user, I have multiple ways to reach, for example, the contact center. I don't need to go to the headquarters. I don't need to go to the branch to ask a simple query. Sometimes we see our behavior changes, and I need to reach my bank, for example, through other omni-channels, like the likes of WhatsApp, or in the case of contact center, I can just have a call with my bank. So we're seeing a lot of growth when it comes to the applications. And at Cisco, obviously, we help our customers move forward with that step and help them drive up their application experience by powering them up with the right tools and skill set to allow them to evolve to this new era of technology. Also by embedding artificial intelligence in their applications, machine learning, we support them to get the right visibility and the right tools and skill set to reach that level. Last point here is we're seeing that when we have a strong application, or when we're having strong mobile application or mobile banking website that the end users are having, we will maintain the customer loyalty. We're seeing that 80% of the companies with strong mobile applications or digital first capabilities in their applications, they retain their customers yearly. So that was the first point around the applications. For the second point, which is one of the very important points, specifically after the pandemic, is the powering hybrid work. So we saw how the pandemic has forced a lot of us to start working from home. We have been forced to work remotely for quite some time. And this has posed a lot of changes into the way we do our work, the way companies carry on with their work. And even post the pandemic, things have changed, and they will remain like that for multiple reasons. Right now, we're seeing a lot of employees start working remotely. We're seeing hybrid work as a policy in multiple companies. Therefore, as a company in the banking sector or in any industry as well, as an employee, I need to be enabled to work hybridly. Whether I'm working from home, whether I'm working from the office, or whether I'm working from another country, I need to have secure access to my network, and I need to have connectivity and reachability to all of our internal employees as well, and even to our customers. And we're seeing a lot of change as well when it comes to the hybrid work, where we're seeing a lot of policies being specifically in banks as well, where we're having operations like 24/7. There's no need to have dedicated offices, for example, for the contact center, for the contact center agents to go to the office, if they can just do it over the phone from their houses or from their collaboration applications. And at Cisco, we help our customers migrate to a hybrid work or even a fully remote policy using our collaboration solutions, and as well our networking solutions that will allow us and allow our banking customers to move forward with the hybrid work policy and even fully remote policies as well. Third point is transforming our infrastructure. Now, as we have mentioned earlier, we're seeing a lot of adoption, and in our previous sessions as well, we're seeing a lot of adoptions of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other technologies into our environment and into our infrastructure. That obviously means that there's going to be a lot of resources required in order to cater to those additional technologies that we're going to be embedding in our network. A lot of data is going to be traversing our network. We're embedding a lot of new technologies in our network. Therefore, our legacy systems or our legacy infrastructure that has to be looked at, it has to be refreshed, and we have to have a digital-ready infrastructure that will allow us to reach this level of evolution where we're migrating and moving to leverage artificial intelligence and machine learning into our environment. So we help our customers migrate or transform their infrastructure to have them to let them or allow them to have a digital-ready infrastructure catering to the high speeds that we need. We allow our customers as well to migrate or help them with their migration journey of their workloads, whether it's going to be to a local cloud service providers or migrate their workloads and applications to public cloud providers as well. Third point that we are seeing here is, again, as we mentioned, artificial intelligence is important, and we're seeing that across all industries and all services, that AI is currently being embedded into our networks and into our applications. Therefore, we need to be ready for that, and we need to be ready for the evolution. And that's exactly how we partner with our customers and partners to allow them reach this new era of networking. Last, but again, not least, security. Security is always on top of our minds when it comes to networking solutions, when it comes to collaboration solutions, when it comes to any sort of application or any sort of solution that we're providing to our customers. Security is always on top of mind. As we have just seen in the analysts and the researches that were shared earlier in the first slide, the cost of a data breach was around 5.7 million. And the threat landscape is obviously increasing on a daily basis. We're seeing a lot of devices getting connected on the network. We're seeing adoption of IoT devices in the network. We're seeing multiple, it's no longer just about endpoints that are being connected to the network, as in PCs and laptops and so on, but we're seeing multiple devices that could get access to the network. Therefore, if we don't have the right visibility and the right protection and detection across all of the devices that we have in the network, then we risk being compromised at some point. And because we're seeing such a great change in the threat landscape in the network, we have to be protected from every single point in the network. It's no longer just about perimeter, it's no longer just about endpoint, but it's also about the adoption of IoT and certain other technologies as well that could be connected in our network. Therefore, we need to make sure that our network is fully protected from all areas. And at Cisco, we have end-to-end security architecture solutions that will help our customers tackle all of these areas and be protected from all areas in the network, starting from the perimeter all the way to the endpoint and to the applications and to our workloads, whether they are located on-premise, in-house in our data centers, or on the cloud. So just to summarize what we have talked about in the presentation, ideally, when we work with our customers in the financial services and in the banking institutions, we like to take them on this journey in no particular order, depending on their priorities. First of all, our main priority is to help our customers have a great customer experience for their end users. As we have seen, retention for our end users in the banking sector mainly relies on their satisfaction with the services that the banks are providing, for example. Therefore, we need to ensure that we have the right customer experience. And this could happen in multiple ways and various ways. Whether we have, for example, a digital-ready branch where we can leverage our collaboration endpoints, for example, where we can leverage our contact center capabilities, where we can leverage certain other technologies like the likes of using WhatsApp for interacting with the contact center agent, where I can make this, where I can make it easier for me as an end user to interact with the bank to carry out a simple transaction. Third is the workplace transformation, where we're enabling our employees and our users to have this experience of hybrid workforce, where they are free to work from anywhere, anytime, and they always have secured connection to the network in order to carry out with their work. And of course, end-to-end security, whether it's a physical sort of security or even from the network side as well. We provide end-to-end security solutions across all areas in the network. And lastly is our applications and intelligent operations. So we need to make sure that we have the right visibility and we have the right automation across all of our applications in the banking industry or in the banking sector to help us optimize our operations, to help us leverage automation, and to help us carry on with our work more easily and more efficiently. And also we need to have the right tools to migrate from in-house, for example, data center, and migrate our applications towards the cloud, or in the case where we have a hybrid environment as well. So that concludes what I want to share with you today. I hope it was informative and beneficial, and if you have any questions, we're sitting right around the corner at the back, so feel free to ask us if you have any questions. Thank you all for your attendance and listening.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, Mohammed, for that great presentation. This brings us to our last presentation for the day. And the speaker is Mr. Naveen Narayanan, a Group Managing Director and CEO of SSA Consulting Group. Naveen has nearly 2 decades of global management consulting experience in the world of lean manufacturing, strategy, and change management. He's led several corporate-wide transformation programs, mentored change agents, and produced sustainable business results for clients like Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, Nortel Networks, DHL Worldwide, Godrej Industries throughout Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. As a lean expert and a Six Sigma MBB, he also has a strong grasp of the fundamentals of strategy planning, goal deployment, value stream mapping, theory of constraints, supply chain excellence, statistical analysis, and problem-solving techniques. Naveen will be speaking to us on the topic of lean and business process excellence in banking. Please help me in welcoming him to the stage.
All right. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to you. Sorry for standing between you and lunch, and my promise is to keep it brief and entertaining so that you get something new out of my talk. My name is Naveen Narayanan. I'm leading SSA Consulting Group. Been here in the region for close to a decade now and been very privileged to work with a number of institutions and regulators in their business transformation journey. So I thought most of the talks were very enlightening about what is emerging in terms of technology, making processes more connected, digital, and so on. Keeping with the theme of the conference, we thought, how can we look at the business process excellence so that we seamlessly merge lean thinking with digital excellence that the banks are moving towards? Not really. All right. Okay, so quick reflections on the banking sector in the country. And it's been very encouraging in terms of the sort of financial performance the banks have been able to achieve and the way they have stayed resilient throughout the pandemic and the resurgence post-pandemic. And thanks to a stable and healthy regulatory environment also that has been an enabling factor, the role that CBO is playing and how they've been able to maintain the financial stability in the sector is commendable. We also notice, of course, the sector is going through its own consolidation, which will help to create better value, strengthen their assets, and so on. And the growth is palpable. So overall, the banking sector is looking very, very encouraging in current times and years to come. And of course, the ongoing leader's dilemma, needless to say, the leadership team, it is healthy to have a sense of discontent about where things are. And some of those are areas of performance. How do we safeguard profits? How do we minimize non-performing assets? How do we give better service to customers? And keep people excited and engaged about the way things are and excited about the future and creating a new future together. So I was reflecting on this very interesting sort of survey done. The survey touched upon two close to the heart issue for banks. One of them is the customer. How do you keep the customers engaged and excited? And the other lever is about how do you drive operational efficiency or operational leadership. Now, it looks like one feeds into the other, but I still found this perspective interesting. And but what I found telling was in this, and this is based on survey from about 1,000 odd bankers worldwide. And what it revealed is only about 9% are truly seeing themselves as customer champions, and about 7% look at themselves as operational evangelists, so to speak. In that there is still a large chunk of banks and financial institutions that still feel they are a bit of slow starters, that they haven't done enough to truly understand and drive customer experience or truly drive operational efficiencies proactively. So it just tells us that there is still a lot of unaddressed areas for banks to look at in order to truly deliver superior value to customers. Banking is evolving. We all know, I mean, the number of times we have to go to the bank is reducing as, you know, as the years roll on, right? I don't recall when was the last time I went to the bank. Probably whole of last year I must have gone once to renew my debit card. So banking is changing. The customer visits are infrequent. So somebody famously said, and I don't know who quoted this anonymously, let's say, is that banks may not be there, but banking will remain forever. So the need for banking is not going away anytime soon. But banks have become remote, anytime banking, anywhere banking, paperless banking, and we want to interact with the phone. The generational change is also bringing about the need to have a seamless experience. Elsewhere in the world, also in India, for instance, the policy shift by the central bank has been creating a more favorable environment for fintechs to become lenders. So I get a lot of these updates that every day there is a new fintech starting that's starting to lend money at attractive rates, seamless, frictionless experience, and so on. So keeping up with the trend is inevitable for us to stay relevant and to prosper. So obviously there are a lot of new paradigms that are emerging. I remember as a youngster growing up in the 80s, going with my mom, we used to go to the bank to get a stamp on the passbook to just say how much money you have, maybe 150 rupees in the bank. But you know, the bank, and we used to wait for, so it used to be an occasion, we used to wait for a couple of hours taking the token, and we used to be friends with all the, you know, the chatty bankers and so on. So times have changed, things have become technologically enabled. People didn't care much about defects. There could be an error in your statement, or there could be a wrong checkbook issued, and they would correct it for you, right? Today, the customer tolerance for error is, you know, we expect zero defect in every transaction, right? And of course, the banks slowly emerging from the paradigm that customer need money anyway, they have to come to us. And that is changing, and now there is healthy competition. So banks have to show how they differentiate themselves, not just by offering better interest rates, but also offering differentiated services in terms of speed, accuracy, customer friendliness, reliability of services, and so on. And we see a lot of that playing out in the Omani banking sector as well as we speak. So one aspect to reflect on is how robust the processes are. Process failures, I find it interesting and fascinating that a lot of industries don't have very robust metrics for measuring process failures. Now, what do you mean by process failures? Simply put, the moment of truth experience of customer. If I walk into a bank and if I want to open an account, is the account opened first time right? Am I able to walk out of the branch with my debit card and account activated so that I can go on and live my life? More often than not, it's not the case. In many instances, customers' problem is not solved at the moment of truth, and therefore they have to come back, call, follow up. The problem remains unaddressed, right? So therefore, you may have the intent to give good service to customer, but somewhere due to the slippages in the process, the customer ends up not having a very good experience, right? So the challenge that I want to present in front of the August gathering is when was the last time we reflected on processes from the view of customer experience? When I say customer experience, at the moment of truth, and the end-to-end set of processes that impact customer experience. And a lot of times, these cut across departmental boundaries, right? If I have to apply for a loan, if it's a very simple personal loan and it's a small ticket, probably it's a one-stop shop process. But if I'm applying for a corporate loan, or if I'm applying to open an account as a corporate, so a lot of these processes have to go to multiple departments. It has to be reviewed by risk, it has to be reviewed by operations, and so on. So do all these functions have a singular view of the process? Is there a singular KPI by which we are measuring the performance of these processes? These are all food for thought for us to consider. So reflecting on some of the seminal work, Keno, for instance, said that when you design a process, look at what can go wrong in the process that will really irritate the customer, right? Those must be features in the process. So if I go to collect money from a debit card, from an ATM machine, and the machine doesn't spit out the money, I'm irritated, right? So there are a lot of attributes within the service which are must be, what the customer pays money for. If those attributes are not addressed, it's going to irritate the customer. And more customers are getting intolerant because the bar is getting raised, right? When the competition raises the bar in terms of giving better service, customer expects the same service standard from the whole industry. So this is something for us to reflect, which direction the industry is moving, and how can we stand out. There is very little differentiation we can achieve just by the must-be, like giving better interest rates, right? You would be cannibalizing yourself at some point if you're lowering the interest rates because the industry is moving in a different direction. So you will have to find different innovative means to stand out, to keep the customer preference. So the whole cycle of business process maturity, again, I won't go into all of them, but it would be beneficial to reflect on where we stand on this sort of 7-step approach. Are we in firefighting mode, or are we in the extreme end, like some of the beautiful presentations we saw? Solutions are available, the thought process is there, the intent is there. To what extent these have been embraced and running seamlessly in our ecosystem is something for us to consider, right? The holy grail of having a lean digital operation where things happen in one step, in a fraction at a snap of a finger. So transformation levers are many. A lot of times we believe that throwing technology at a problem can solve the problem. More often than not, this has been proven false for various reasons, because technology is a great enabler, but the engine does not rev until this is meshed with the right methodology and the right management priorities. So this is backed by a lot of research. Gartner did a survey some years ago where they found about 75% of technology projects fail or don't really meet their intended objective, or they did not meet it at the desired budget, and so on and so forth, right? So one needs to take a step back and look at things from a holistic perspective so that you're able to create value through the technology intervention. So this is a famous example of a midget elevator in Japan, which has 5 steps. So what problem is it solving? It looked very interesting and fancy to put it, but we could have lived without it, right? So there are many such famous failures for us to reflect on. So the direction we want to move, and because the topical issue is technology, Sakichi Toyoda famously talked about the human-centric automation, which means build automation to reduce human burden, build automation to make life easy and defect-free so that truly people can focus on creating value. So coming to transformation, there are, of course, transformation is probably too big a word, but to put it succinctly, transformation is not about creating a future looking at the past, but creating a future by looking at the future. So it sounds a bit nebulous, which means that we may have to think about solutions that did not exist in the past. So that involves design thinking, for instance, understanding what is truly value adding to the customer, and then going back into every nuance of the process to say, is this really creating value? Is this making life better for customers? And so on. So that's where value stream thinking comes into the picture, right? When you look at all the connected parts, from selling to designing to operating to delivering, are all these moving parts working together to create value for customers, right? So what are the non-value adds or wasteful activities done in the process, and so on. So Deming famously talked about return on investment as a function of flow. If you don't create flow, you're not creating value. So this is par for the course. In most instances, it makes logical sense. So we've had conversations with banks that wanted to grow their auto loan book, for instance. Now there is a complete spectrum of processes, from the non-banking financial institutions having extremely agile processes. Customer gets approval of their loan across the counter in 10 minutes flat. They get a WhatsApp alert that their application has been pre-approved and they can go ahead and book the car. And there are instances of banks taking 4 to 5 or maybe 7 working days to give the same approval to the customer. So one may imagine that, why is there so much disparity? At the end of the day, it's the same set of people and same technologies that is running in all these organizations, right? But the intent may be different. The level of thought put into the process, the criticality with which the processes have been challenged and rewired over time may change. This is where we want to challenge the industries to say that don't lose the forest for the trees. If you create flow, it will create prosperity, right? And we have seen it time and again play out. You just need to breathe some belief into it, and you will see the miracles happen. And we have many examples. I always like to give examples from within the country because there are too many examples from within the country. Stories we're talking about, perhaps a lot of them don't talk to create much awareness about silently what good work they're doing. ROP is a great example where a lot of the processes have been simplified, streamlined, digitized. Most of the time, the intent is to make the process in one step. If it has 2 steps, why 2 steps? Can it be done in 1 step? If it has 1 step, is this process needed at all? So asking those kind of questions will give you remarkable results and answers, right? The banking sector, for example, this famous example of one of the banks from India, the personal loan is approved in 10 seconds. So they have done, of course, a lot of artificial intelligence, your credit record, history, your transactions, all of those are analyzed and processed. But the beauty is by the time you initiate the process, the bank already knows, are you a worthy customer for personal loan or no? And if you're a worthy customer, the decision should be given to you in 10 seconds flat. So all of these are telling examples. Of course, excellence requires a holistic perspective where you look at the broader vision of where you want to take the organization and then execute the right initiatives, strategic and tactical, and measure the right metrics that matter. So excellence demands a concerted view. A couple of quick case studies in the next 30 seconds. These are some examples of our work. Of course, I have to mask some of the information due to confidentiality. This is some work we did with the regulator here, and we continue to do a very large-scale transformation program where we are helping to identify how they can make life easy for the banks and financial institutions in the country. This is a project done a few months ago where they wanted to review the amount of time it takes to complete the examination process. And this is an ongoing cycle, as you all may be aware of. This process was put under the scanner. The idea was to make the process as simple, streamlined, and efficient so that it reduces burden and gives timely decisions and actions for the sector. So they went into a lot of root causes and asking what are the complexities in the process, can we standardize the data that is captured, how the data is analyzed, creating shared folders. A lot of those elements were done. The report, for instance, every page of the report was studied to see which one of these can be eliminated. So from 45, they came down to 27 pages. So all of these improvements then led to a significant drop in the amount of time it took to complete the examination process. From over 100-odd days. They brought it down to about 80 days. And this is being further improved on an ongoing basis. Another case study, this is ongoing with one of the banks here that we have the privilege to work with, where we're looking at how the lean lens can be applied across all the processes originating from customers and delivering certain product or service to the customer. So here we're looking at all the typical customer touchpoint processes across retail and corporate touchpoints, from account opening, account closing, debit card, credit card, complaint management, and so on and so forth. In every process, we are just asking the question, what is done in that process? Is this necessary to be done? Can you simplify? Can you remove the activity? Can you combine the activity? All of those questions are being asked. These are some typical examples of account opening process, for instance, where the number of steps being proposed to reduce by about 30-odd%, reducing the number of man-hours in the process by about 50%, and so on, creating a better experience to customers, and so on. So that's my talk. I hope I kept up my word to keep it brief, and thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Naveen. The deliberations on the future of banking culminated in a remarkable conclusion featuring a diverse range of expert perspectives, and we trust that each of you thoroughly enjoyed the enriching proceedings of the summit. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed partners and sponsors, Oman Banks Association, GBM, Cisco, Bank Nizwa, Sahar International, Ahli Bank, Ahli Islamic, National Finance, Oman Data Park, National Life and General Insurance, CNS, United Securities, Alam Al-Iqtisad, OER, and OERlive.com. For their steadfast support for this event. And we kindly invite you all to join us for lunch. And inshallah, we will see you again next year. Thank you very much.